Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
You know what? I talked to your mayor.
Police or zombie problems? Your tortoise won't stop breakdancing?
Try blue tape.
The miracle of our age. Yay!
Army of one. Getting masked up and rolling over snitches. Sitting them like the cruise line, baby, to throw out the E-stitches. A wrecking ball to all their scams, the grips they sold as free. The lawyers, the lies, the 50s is K, blocking out the owing me. How many claims are left in ruins? Oh, let us count the ways. A memorial, 20K on fencing, a fortune turned into ATK. What's the sound of two brain cells fighting for last place? If you guess the ecosystem, that's right. You got lies about money, a fortune squandered, thousands flagrantly misused. And unlike sickness, there's sadly no cure for stupid. This isn't just a mic drop, it's yet another nuke. Asking what they're gonna do when their money turns to poof. The greatest truth out there, they know the truth in what I wrote. But to quote you ecosystem pals, they've already tossed you off the boat. I hope you can float, lady, because they've abandoned you. Abandoned. That's right.
What's up, folks? Welcome to a very interesting edition today. What's up, MacLab, by the way? Appreciate you, my friend. It's good to see everybody. I'm telling you, man, oh man. So, I was planning on covering some of the amazing, crazy that has been posted recently. If you haven't seen, I mean, just today, like this is how wild it is. Look at this. Look at this. What does it end? Does it ever end? Is it still going? Hey, wait. It's actually still going. That's right. No, this isn't just a wall of random text. That is actually the last post because they keep going. But today we had something even crazier happen. We had counters sued. And I thought, that's not going to get filed. Oh, yeah, it did. It did, along with a demand for dismissal. Now, what's going to be fun about this is there was no disclosure of who the lawyer is that's involved with it. but it does note that there was a lawyer, a free lawyer, involved in creating it. Now, that will have to be disclosed. You have to disclose lawyers that help you out with crap. You can't just say, oh, I got a free lawyer. It's good to go. It's gravy, baby. No, that's not how it works. So I'm curious. Give me 1 second. I got to grab a drink. Give me 1 minute. I forgot my drink. Man, I can't believe it. Ugh. All right. You can still hear me. Sorry about that, folks. I gotta have a caffeinated drink. Well, actually, I need the sugar from it today. I was told I needed to drink one today. I've been waiting on it. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, so we actually had a post, which we will go over with all of this, but check this out here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. And there's one other thing I really want to cover with this too. So you see this right here. This is one of her posts. She's like filing this right now. And it did get filed. I'm fighting back for truth. Now, what does she do? She files counterclaims. Dun, dun, dun. Which is a lawsuit. And when I say she's suing, that is correct. Lawsuit. That is what a counterclaim is. It is a lawsuit. Now, what she's going to do is she's going to drive up her expenses from her garbage filing with Trespass 5. It was a terrible idea. They should have just eaten it when they had the chance. Nope. Going to drive the costs again. Now, this is interesting, but there was one thing revealed yesterday that really blew my mind. It was confirmed by 2L in the game. So there is one of these posts I want to note, because Lynette not only told the truth about this, but it is mind-blowing that this is true. So essentially, she said, and I'm going to pull this up so we can read it, but she said that that 2L, that Lisa tried to get her to sell her property to her neighbor, Tina. You know who we're talking about, Tina, the other neighbors that, they don't like Jeremy Hales. Well, guess what? This is true. They confirmed this last night. This is 100% legit. This looks like they were trying to grab her land out from under her. And they were like, well, they would have made the deal with you that you could live there for free. And this, oh my God, man. Take her money, take her property. Holy crap, this is nuts, man. They really were trying to do this, according to them. So what I want to do is I want to read you what she said about it, and then I want to read you their transcript of it. And I'm sure, I'm telling Megan, she's supposed to be back, as far as I know, Wednesday. So that, I'll tell her she should kick in a Rumble exclusive too, because you definitely need to hear this from their mouths, what they have to say about this. It's crazy. But she posted, now this was the other day, she's posted a lot of stuff. I'm talking like 2 days worth of coverage stuff. It's wild. But she posted, now she deleted this one, by the way. She said John didn't like it. Why? Because she called him, I'm going to use the word accostive, the other A word, yeah. She said he's that kind of thing. And she said he didn't like that post. But she had noted originally that, here, let me blow that up for you a little bit. Let me see if I can, give me 1 minute. I'm trying to see if I can, there you go. Ooh, that's a lot better. Isn't that better? You like that? That's so much prettier. I like that. All right, let's do this here. So it said, do you know what Lisa's one option she gave John after she screwed up and wrecked everything for us? We should sell our property to our neighbor Tina, hold on, and walk away with nothing after seeing I guess it's how screwed up our lives. She screwed up our lives, guys. Now you notice this one was like, yeah, she tried to screw us up. If everyone would just can't believe me, county zoning, this is a mess, and permitting, you would find out for yourselves. The engineer, I don't want to give his name. I don't want to bring him into this, but I'm going to end up doing it. All of that of you that donated. God, it's a mess. Your money should be so angry. You should be so angry at what she's done to us. I gave her the benefit of the doubt that it was just that she bit off too much, but now I feel totally different, and I'll be talking to a lawyer. This, by the way, I thought this was the deleted one. It's another one. My bad. There's so many. Oh my God. She called him an abuser in another one. I think it's long enough. We can say that. My God. Over 2,000 of you already. Appreciate that. I showed up like 5 minutes early. You know what's crazy is I was going to show up. I was going to show up 9 minutes earlier and freak everybody out. Right before that, the little one comes down and she's like, I took a shower, brush my hair, do this, do that. You know, her sister helped her with it. She's like, brush my hair. Only you can do it, right, Dad? And help me pick out some clothes. I was like, all right. So I still got to go in earlier, but I was like, I'm going to throw everyone off. I'm going to start almost on time. Nope. But go crawl in a hole, it continues, because of your mistake. Your mistake. Now, I have no respect for you, Lisa Lee. None. And I'm sorry that I got mad about John. This was the makeup for it. John should have told me, absolutely should have told me, but now that he did, wow. So there's the accusation that she wanted them to sell. And you notice it's a recent accusation. It's not some old school, this happened way back in the past. Well, they said something about this last night. They confirmed that yes, this was indeed part of the plan. This is what they had to say. I'm going to pull up their transcript on this, okay? Man, oh man. This is crazy. I mean, they tried to take her, like she's not kidding. They really did try to take her shit. Just like her Mooney. Man, Michelle, I would be ticked. You suing the wrong people, lady. You should be suing these people. You really should be. You know, you're biting off. Speaking real for a second. You were talked into a very stupid lawsuit with the Trespass 5. Those people. Because, again, it's a terrible lawsuit. Lloyd has every right to have someone come in and take his stuff off the property. After that, you could trespass them and they can never come back. But he has every right to retrieve his property. You as the homeowner, you have to let him. You let him stay there. Therefore, you cannot dictate who he has come and get that either. There was nothing. There was no law enforcement trespass or anything before. There was no previous documentation at all. So you had no right to tell them they couldn't come on there. So everything you stated about that is 100% wrong. You can't win that lawsuit. What you're going to do is you're going to drive the costs up for you. And I know you've got one of these stupid lawyers. Like, where have they been right? Like, honestly, I wish, when that, like, sometimes I don't wish you could, but I feel obligated to say this, okay? Because it's mind-boggling. And like I said, at the same time, I actually don't wish you would. I hope you drive up the costs and make it a glorious freaking wreck that I can laugh at, because I like to laugh at things. Now, I hate it for the Grangers that it costs them more money that they probably will never be able to collect against you, because what do you have? But somebody's going to hit it with your land and everything else. Oh, it's so dumb. So dumb. But this is what was said. The offer that Michelle laid out on her post today, because she acted like she knew nothing about the offer, and John told her about the offer today, one of her posts. I don't know if it's still up. Don't know if she's dirty deleted, but the lie about that is the fact that it wasn't John that was offered. It was the offer. It was made to Michelle. So Michelle knew about the offer, and Michelle never responded to the offer. Now, I wonder about this. Are you telling us you mailed it to them or something? You texted it? Because how do we know that Michelle actually got that offer? I again, just playing devil's advocate in this. What they're telling us, though, I don't trust them in any way, shape, or form, first of all. I don't trust Michelle either, so it puts me in this weird predicament. But I have verification that there was indeed an offer to take her land. Now, these people, where they've taken her money and everything else, I don't see them being nice about it. You know what I'm saying? I see it as a snatch and grab. I think they tried to take everything from Michelle Preston. I think she was stupid enough to let them into her life, and they were like, yo, free land. Yo, free money. Yo. I mean, it starts getting really, really interesting. You know, I've been hearing some more totals. They said something the other day too. You know, when I was reading over it, and I thought, am I reading this right? They were talking about Only Me, you know, their biggest donor. And they said, actually, they had donations that equaled more together than he donated. I was like, holy shit, you just admitted to over $100,000 in donations. Holy God. Oh man, that's how I understood that statement. Now they'll walk it back, but that's how I understood it. Them admitting to a lot of money there. But here, I mean, they take the money, they take the land. Okay, it was Michelle that got the offer. And me saying to John, you should take him up on the offer. Okay, so you did make the offer to John. See, these lying assholes. So they said Michelle never responded. Did they know Michelle got the offer? I don't know. Again, but they say that John, they did mention it to him. So she may be well telling the truth, finding out, you know, first thing, well, they tried to snatch your land out from under her. And listen to this. It's me thinking, Michelle told John about it, and she didn't okay. Don't know if she did or not, but the buyer property offered to buy her property. One of the neighbors, they offered to buy her property. They would have been able to get the permits. Okay, so look at this shit. This is crazy. They want to take her property. Well, look at the bright side. They would have been able to get your permit. Yeah, but they're not. It's not your land anymore. They would be able to not just work on their barn, but complete the barn. How would they complete the barn, by the way? What did that property sell for? Does anybody remember right off the top of their heads? They remember what they paid for it? Because it was more than the property was stated for. Do you remember how much that property sold for? I'm letting people catch up for a second because I'm curious. I know one of you knows the total for it. You know, 22,000. That's what I was thinking, right around 20 to 28. So, okay, so right in there, about roughly 25,000. Okay, let's call it 25. All right. Now they were telling you that there's only 18K left. Now remember, we figured this out. If you missed yesterday, by the way, this is kind of awesome because yours truly cracked the code, I believe. I believe the 18,000, again, they pulled up one donation, count it, one donation by Only Me. They said that $20,000 that Only Me donated, it was actually 19,100. When they took away fees, it was only 18,000. And they say there's only 18,000 left. The way they were saying, it has to be specifically earmarked for the barn. In order to be for the barn. All the money, like when they were talking about, let's get money together to get the barn. Apparently that's not Lynette's money. All the money that was donated in, that's somehow their money, I suppose. But that's where I think the 18,000 comes from. But if you take the $18,000 and you add in, let's say they actually gave her full price, so 25,000. I mean, just for argument's sake, you know, which I don't see happening, but let's just say they were going to do that, right? I mean, you'd be talking about, at its best, $43,000 there. Now, they already told you that when Only Me gave money of over $50,000, that wasn't enough to complete the project. So how were they able to get the permits and all of this stuff when over $50,000 isn't enough? That's kind of hinky, isn't it? Because now they're telling you, hey, if somebody else owned that land, they were given the money and it was bought from them, all that money together would be enough. You see the contradiction in there? 50,000 plus is not enough, but 43,000 would be enough. Wait. Okay. All right. And they were willing to let her live there rent free. So they're going to have her work and complete the barn that would not be hers. She gets to live on the property rent free until you've seen how this stuff goes in Otter Creek right now. You've seen how people burn their welcome with certain folks. And yeah, I don't see this working out very well at all. I mean, the whole group of these people right here in Otter Creek. I'm not saying all residents of Otter Creek, folks, just to make that clear. I'm saying this group. You see how they operate within Otter Creek. This would burn out within a year. Probably within 3 months, to be honest. But, just for the sake, that they might let them complete the project and then find a way to kick them off the property. Because, I mean, really, even if they had some type of agreement, they'd have to have the money and resources to fight. 2L isn't going to give them any help on there. And if 2L was part of the thing that put that together, why would any of the other lawyers there, they don't step out of line for 2L. 2L is definitely their ringleader, But, so they would have had money in their pocket. How would they have had money in their pocket? How would that have worked? They already own the land. I'm confused. I'm very confused by this. So they were being told that actually the money that they had should have well covered the expenses. They're lying to you, Lynette. I'm telling you. You have no idea how much money. Again, I would love confirmation. You can put this up live. You can put this up on your posting if you want. How much money do you think they made total? How much money do you think was brought in? Because they're telling you a total that I don't think you have any clue. I don't think anyone has any clue. I think they made some damn good money. And I think you have no idea. They want to give you $5,000 for a freaking RV, man. But they'd be able to live on the property. What would they be living on, though? They don't have anything to live in except a shed. They'd still be in the same senseless circumstances they are, but somebody else would own everything that they lived on. They just wouldn't own it anymore. And if they want to at another time, they could buy it back. Okay, that was the offer. That's a good plan. So Michelle posting what she posted. So see, that she wasn't lying with that. In fact, they tried to screw her big time. You're suing the wrong people, Michelle. You're suing the wrong people. These people, I mean, again, Michelle, like I said, I think what you did with Jeremy Hales and others is terrible. I think you got clowned by these other people too. I think they did you wrong as well, lady. I think they burned you right here. And it is beyond amazing. You should be suing them. But instead, we have the lawsuit that is here today. Let's look at it, shall we? You want to see this beauty. So I want to pull up, first of all, I'm pulling up two things for you, okay? Her filing, as you'll notice, are responses to something. So what she's doing is responding to this document right here. This is Granger and Granger's document where they go after Michelle Preston. She's responding to each line. So we should look at this document because it has been a hot minute. We are not going over Trespass 5 today, but we will have to now because it's on again. It's on like Donkey Kong, depending. We'll see what a judge says about it. She does try to, interestingly, stop the proceedings for a bankruptcy case that isn't happening now, but she has filed this stuff. So let's read the Granger document. It's kind of short, and then let's look at the answers. We'll look at them. We can look at each number. Like I said, if you look at this, if you're wondering how this is set up, you'll notice in any kind of counterclaim or whatever. When she first of all, she's doing answers in the affirmative, or answers period, answers in defense. So if you look, she's doing, let me pull this up, where it is, Facebook, 1 second. Her posting, you can see answers. You're talking about they're denying, and I've taken these. There's a few that are flipped sideways, but you can actually see that. You can see the counterclaims. Oh, it'll be fun. Oh, this is so good. Days, and some days I love them. I love this case. This is so crazy, man. All right, so let's look at this. So, first of all, we have our 11 that you'll notice there were 11 answers at the beginning. Okay, now what she's answering, we'll do this in pieces, is what we'll do. We'll look at the first 11 and we'll look at her answers to it. Okay, so this is a complaint for malicious prosecution. This is what she's attempting to answer here, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, see, Doug, yeah, the problem, she would list, that's what I'm saying. She would get, Tina would buy everything and Lynette would live there. But that's not the thing. They would snatch her land out. Lynette owns the land free and clear. She also collected, we know for a fact from one person, we know that they collected over $50,000 from this one person. Now they argue over the total, but he put up $54,000. There are other donors too. Like a donor hit me up $1,800. For example, yesterday that we talked about, and there's many more donors. They have even said that. So we were told that the $50,000+ is not enough to complete the barn dominium. Now, the only thing they've done with the barn dominium is they've gotten a little bit of wood. You've seen the amount. They've gotten a countertop and 2 toilets. That's their supplies so far that they picked up. They still have materials. They admit they've got to buy materials and more, right? But that's the materials that they're starting with. Now, the costs that they didn't have at the beginning when they were saying that, they now have to get permits, new blueprints. It's essentially a start over game, because if you don't do that, then you got a problem. So Tina and them, if they pick up the property, there is no way that they're going to cough up another, $5,000-$10,000 for that stuff right there. There's no way. What they're telling them is they're going to give you the money. You'll have money in your pocket. You can finish the barn dough and you can live there for free. Well, they don't have any money to defend themselves. And people in this group in Otter Creek here, they seem to have a little falling out real fast. And I imagine when the proverbial knives come out, hopefully not real knives, but proverbial knives come out, I imagine there won't be anywhere for them to live. They'll be like, get off our property, sue us if you want to be here. And Lynette Preston doesn't have she doesn't have the pull to do that, and she's burned all of her goodwill. So that would be the problem there. But yeah, I see what they're trying to say. You're right, Doug, on that, and thank you for noting that too. It's just when you look at it, they're not going to pay for that. They're not going to pay for the barn itself. I mean, when you read through it, what they're saying that they will be able to get permits. Like I've got the clip itself. I listened to it too. I pulled the transcript itself. I pulled it myself, So when they were saying, with them buy the property, they will be able. Now they're not saying Tina would buy. They're saying they would be able to get permits. They would be able to work on the barn and complete it. Like, again, where's this money come from though? I mean, it's a good question on that, but I think they tried to snatch that land right out from under her. And again, she already had the money to complete the barn dominium. They said that they had enough until they wanted to say they didn't. Until it got really, I think a lot of them got really cozy with those dollars. And now, again, they're saying that they only have $18,000 remaining. The math, it doesn't make sense. The only way it makes sense for them to have $18,000 left is the thing that they pulled the other night. You know, with this. Here, let me pull this over real fast. I'll pull this before we move forward. See, they pulled this, you know, and I noted this yesterday. They pulled this, the David, the donor, you know, they pulled this one specifically, and they were like, look, it has a note, the barn needs to be finished. 19,000. Well, actually, it's 18. Wait, you're saying you only have 18 left? Huh. Weird. The one thing you admit to. The amount you say, and the amount doesn't make sense either, because for it to be 18, again, if that's the total, that would be 5 point something %. And there's no way that PayPal charges you 5 point something %. They charge you a couple of percentages unless you send it friends and family. And again, only David can note the way he sent it, but I'd be really curious, like the next time somebody runs across him, just ask him to clarify. How did you send the money? Did you pay the fees on it? Did you send it friends and family? What happened with that? You know? Because what I'm wondering with, give me a second. I'm curious about something. One minute. I want to know something. Okay. What is that? $892? 1 second. What is, 1 second. I'm figuring up something. 92 of 20,000. So, what is the percentage there? Okay. So if he sent originally, here's a question. I wonder if he originally sent 20,000 and he paid $892 in fees. Because typically, okay, this is the way this works. Typically, they don't take money out like see, it says it's a note with details that he sent this much money. When somebody sends me this much money, it takes fees out on their side. Like when I'm sending you money, like I pay artists all the time through PayPal, right? And when I pay artists, I have to add a little bit more to make up for the fees, unless I send it friends and family. You know, if I trust my artists, if I worked with them a while, I just pay them straight up. You know, no fees for either of us. We're good to go. It's all gravy. But if I have to pay them a different, that's not taxes. That's just associated fees. But I pay the fees. I end up paying them when I'm sending money over like that. So the fee thing is just bizarre. I'm wondering if he paid $800 and something in associated fees. That would be interesting to find out. Because like I said, when I send money, when I pay people for business, or if I'm sending money to a friend or a family member that, or not a family member, but a friend that I want a record of, I've sent money. You ever send money to somebody and you're like, yeah, I need a record of that because they better pay me back. Well, if you do that, it's like a business transaction. You pay a fee out of it. The other person doesn't pay that fee. Get what I'm saying there? Unless they're friends and family, then they get it free. Anyway, there's a lot of that. I think there's a lot of lies. If they were clarified, oh my God. Anyway, let's look at this. Let's look at this document. Man, it will break your brain trying to sift through their lies. You gotta do them in pieces. All right, let's look at this here. But I wasn't really thinking about that with the $19,100 and something dollars. You know, was that because he paid fees out? Because he notes a specific rounded number. And who would send $19,100? Would you? I mean, honestly, do you send numbers that aren't rounded off? Do you send like $19,102? Does that sound like something you would send just like if you were just randomly sending money? You know, if you're sending a large amount, or would you send $20,000? See, for David, like he gave us the numbers he sent too. Just give me a minute. I got this in my head for a minute. I have to look at it. Then I'll do this. I've got to look at this real fast first. So he notes, rounded off numbers. This would make sense. You're sending these numbers and you have a fee taken out of it when it gets there. That's why you have $19,102 show up. Because otherwise, again, I could see $19,100 potentially, and $2, that's kind of a strange one, isn't it? But anyway, all right. I'll put that out there. I think they've lied a lot about fees. I think until they prove anything publicly, I think they've lied about a lot. They have a lot to prove. They have never proven numbers publicly. And they took a lot of money. They never had a goal. Like I said, they never had a goal at all. It was just more. What's your goal? More? That's not a goal. We need more. It's a project. That is a scamming method. You have a project that can never be fulfilled. Again, you can look like, for example, with Bruce. Now, Bruce, I think it was pretty scammy with the not using the money for getting lawyers when he said, but you notice he stated exactly how much he needed. Like with that, when you set up a pool, you take exactly the amount. They need more, But I digress. So this was the complaint for malicious prosecution. This is what Lynette Preston is answering today. And again, she's counterclaiming against, so that is suing. Jurisdiction, of course, you have the jurisdictional issues that come up first. The complaint seeks damages excess of $50,000. $50,000, man. 50 freaking grand. You should just eat it and be done with it. I swear. Exclusive of attorney fees and costs. So we're talking about more, right? Venue is appropriate to Levy County because the causes of action given rise to the complaint accrued in Levy County. Defendant Preston, resident of, they talk about, what part, Hillcrest County, Florida, and as such is blah, blah, blah. So, general allegations on or about September 18th, 2024. This is again a short document. Preston files a lawsuit alleging that plaintiffs committed wrongful acts, sounding in tort, and sought damages for intentional infliction of emotional distress. This, by the way, is a very dumb one to roll with because it is difficult. Very difficult. Invasion of privacy. Inversion. Invasion of privacy with publication of private information, civil conspiracy, economic damages, exemplary damages, punitive damages, costs, and attorney fees in Hillcrest County Circuit, The proceedings commenced by Preston against plaintiff originated solely with her actions. That's true. As such, the actions constitute legal causation of the proceedings that were commenced against plaintiff. A dismissal was filed with respect to the proceedings. The result represents bona fide termination of the proceedings brought by Preston's action that was in favor of the plaintiffs. At no time material to this matter or the probable cause for the proceedings in commencing proceedings, Preston acted with malice against plaintiffs, and so they ask for again, wherefore defendant judgment against they suffered in the amount of $55,000 plus Okay, so she decides she's going to answer this stuff today. Now, there's actually two parts of the answer. There's one part I thought was kind of, I don't know, it was just kind of interesting. She has in addition to what she's filing, she puts in a motion for dismissal. I actually want to read it. It's the back pages, but I still want to read that first because I thought this was interesting considering. Okay. All right. She puts in a motion for, I said dismissal. It's for open default is what it is. Okay. So let me pull this up first, and then we'll talk about her answers to it. So she puts in, again, in this matter here, I, defendant Michelle Preston, move to open default for good cause. I am filing my answer defenses and counterclaims. As the court is aware, I filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy, but due to my counsel's electronic filing issues, it was dismissed. He filed a reinstatement motion, which is to be heard in the bankruptcy court October 7th. It is expected the bankruptcy will be reinstated. You actually don't know that at all. Again, this moves forward until it can't. So you don't know how that will be. Now, at first I thought, well, they're definitely going to go forward and let you have it. But your counsel has made a mess of things. Your counsel had some more deadlines and everything else. And I don't know. Your counsel, by the way, just to note with Michelle Preston's counsel, if you read filings that they've done, and other people have done a great job of posting breakdowns of this. They do on Facebook. They do a great job of it. We've read over some of them. But when you look at what this guy was supposed to do, his electronic courses he was supposed to take, when he goes in and he does them, he waits till the last possible moment to do anything, sometimes over the mark. He doesn't file things when he's supposed to. When he goes in and he does classes, he does them like the day before. He writes a motion and it's right at the last minute. It's crazy stuff. If your license, or not your line, but your ability to, potentially your license, depending on what you do with it, but also your ability to electronic file. That is something you're playing with. You wouldn't catch me waiting the last moment. Right when the doors open, I would get it fixed. I wouldn't be screwing around. But all these people, that's what they do. They do that. So my point in bringing this stuff up is, do I think typically a bankruptcy would get to move forward? Yes. Do I think that these people could drop the ball and drop it so severely that it could potentially not? Yes. I think they can make a mess of it that badly. So for them to say that it's expected, that means nothing. It has to be. In order for this to happen, your wording right here means nothing. Nothing, Lynette. In which case the automatic stay will come back into effect. I relied on the automatic stay being in effect and would not have filed to respond to the complaint if I understood the plaintiffs would rush to seek default, even knowing the bankruptcy may be reinstated. What? They have every right to. This means nothing. The Grangers have every right to seek a default judgment against you. They have every right. You all have dragged this stuff out since February. You have dragged your feet in both cases, doing absolutely nothing. But you waited again past. You made people spend money. See, that's where, in their arguments too, they're going to want to relitigate and aim counterclaims. But this is going to blow up in your face, Lynette. Whoever is telling you that this is a good idea, they're just digging a deeper hole. Best chance you have is delaying the inevitable. That's not winning. It's going to cost you more money at the end. This is insanity. This is absolute insanity. Like, she needs to talk to a lawyer that doesn't have anything to do with this Anna Hale's ecosystem. Somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about. Because I'm telling you, they would be like, oh my God, lady, these people, you need to sue whoever talked you into this stuff. For real. You need to sue them. And I have a feeling that they are still talking to you and still telling you what to do. But I could have sought a time extension, which I believe the court would have granted. Well, it doesn't matter. I could have, should have, who cares? You know? I mean, who cares? When I was walking down the street today, I could have found $1 million, but you know what? It didn't happen. You know. By the way, speaking of million, no, if you like our content, note that we are live to people. We are having the good talks. By the way, I've been on a roll for the last few days, by the way. I feel like we've been having some pretty good live streams. These people are like the gift that keeps on giving. Oh, by the way, did you see Miltoast's post talking about how we're all on the decline? All the only the ecosystem and Miltoast especially, they're the only ones that are doing well, but anybody that the antis are targeting are doing poorly. Now, I know that that's not in this right here, but he posted a very lengthy thing trying to break that down. And I thought, aren't you being sued for trying to damage somebody's business? Why would you post that? Why would you post proof that seems to back up exactly what Hales is stating? And again, he's like, well, you know, the umbrella guy's on the decline. Huh, well, I'm suing someone too. Huh, maybe I too have damages. Man, did you ever think about you were giving me evidence? Thank you, Miltoast. I swear. I mean, that is one of the dumbest things you could do. He posted this freaking lengthy diatribe about how, you know, essentially businesses people say are damaged could be damaged. Huh. Wow, amazing. But he's okay. He told you he's doing fine. That's the awesome thing about it too. his own research. He's like, oh, you haven't harmed him. Okay, cool. That's amazing. Awesome. You haven't harmed any of them. That's cool. I'm glad you said that. Anyway, so it should not make any difference, given that now that I am responding, and it's not very long after whatever deadline there was. In fact, the motion for default does not even state when that period expired. What in the freaking... What are you arguing here? If the automatic stay ends up being lifted later on, or the bankruptcy does not result in discharge of the plaintiff's actions, there is no prejudice whatsoever by opening default in the docket, being my answers, defenses, and counterclaims. So she's like, please let what I have here, let it in instead of letting the motion for default go forward. Again, you dropped your case, lady. You realize that you did damages. You have a garbage case. Really, I would love to see this case go forward. I would love it, because you know what's going to happen. You do realize this, right? You realize that there's this pesky little thing called discovery, and the things that Boletho let you get away with. Judge Grabe is you listen to him in that meeting. He has a He has a no-nonsense approach. He's not going to let you jack around and pretend all of this stuff doesn't exist. That'll be amazing. You know, so you do realize that, I mean, again, discovery does exist. Oh, they want to go forward, and discovery goes both ways. Like all your weird conspiracies that everybody works for Jeremy Hales, that's bizarre. Like, again, I work for whomever backs all of you guys, you know. That's what I do. I don't get a paycheck from a Jeremy Hales. Neither do the Grangers, neither does a Fox or whomever. So all of the conspiratorial nonsense that has been stated about what you think you might find, or some conspiracy where people were sent over to do damages, yeah, that's not going to exist. What you're going to have is Lloyd begging people to come over and get him out of a horrible situation. Lloyd's words will be part of discovery. And do you think, you know, when they try to pull the I'm indigent and I'm elderly, yes, so was Lloyd. And you tried to steal everything from him. In fact, how do you think it would play with a jury if they heard about how Lloyd he alleged that John wanted to, he was posting about how he was going to get Lloyd's camper for $1. It sounds very much like a conspiracy. It's crazy stuff. So how do you think that would play out? But anyway, it says, I can take these just as if there's no interruption in the bankruptcy. The case could resume. I got to pull up another page. Give me a second here. Now, I want to show you something on this page here. This is why I want to cover this first, all right? Just because this is really fun here. All right, you're going to enjoy it. You're really going to like this. You're really going to like this, baby. You're going to like it all the way. Here we go. Should the bankruptcy not dispose of it altogether? I cannot afford an attorney, and so all I can do is hope the court does not force me to keep defending this case while the bankruptcy lawyer is working to have it discharged under. You're not going to get this discharged, lady. This is willful stuff you did. You can't discharge it. It drives me nuts. You did this maliciously. That is what they're saying. You can't discharge malicious conduct. Holy God, man. And again, you are being sued for malicious conduct. It is. This is a complaint you're answering for malicious prosecution. Does this not register with you in any way, shape, or form? Can you not look this up online and figure this out? Don't talk to the moron lawyers you discuss. Look it up. Can I discharge malicious or willful prosecution? No, it doesn't work that way. It breaks my brain. Oh my God. There are lawyers telling her that. What bothers me is Lynette is stupid enough to think that, okay? 100%. But these lawyers are telling her that you can do this. Even if they manage to do it, what would happen? You would be back in court and they will sue you and they will break that bankruptcy. It has happened repeatedly. I mean, what an idiot, man. She really thinks that she's going to be able to discharge that. It's not even a decided case yet. You would have been better off, Lynette, if you wanted to go this route. You'd be better off letting them have the case now and perhaps have a total to at least try to discharge versus open-ended litigation. Oh, I'm going to do this even though it hasn't been decided. What world do you think that's going to work? It's not going to work either way. That's why I mentioned that. But my God, what you're doing here is, if in the best case scenario for you, if your complaints were allowed, you're going to accrue more debt as people. Every time this lawyer responds, you rack up hundreds to thousands of dollars. Every time they have to write a piece of paper. And you're on the hook for it because you brought this lawsuit. You can play the victim in it, but ultimately you brought a malicious lawsuit that you decided that you weren't going to go forward with. Now you're whining that you don't have a lawyer. Well, that's your problem. Judge Grabe made that clear too. Now you notice in this, when they're talking about bankruptcy, or a lawyer rather too, look down here at the very bottom. Let's just skip ahead for 1 second. Do you notice something at the very, very bottom of that really sticks out? So it notes again that Michelle Preston is pro se, but it notes that it was prepared with the free assistance of a lawyer. Now you can't just say mystery lawyer. You're going to have to disclose who that is. That should be fun because there's only one lawyer that I can think of. Oh my God. It's going to be real fun to see who helped you with this. You will end up having to tell the class who that is. She put this in here. But again, she didn't want to tell you who the mystery lawyer is. Oh my God, wouldn't that be funny, Richard, if it was Lisa? Oh my God. I think I might fall out of my chair. So now, if and when this case resumes following the outcome of the bankruptcy petition, I will, of course, defend myself against plaintiff's claims as well as pursue counterclaims against them, as stated in my answers, defense, and counterclaims being filed. Okay, well, let's check those out. Would you like to see the counterclaims and answers? Let's check them out together. Let me roll back to number 1. Now, these are, again, she uploaded this, so they are apparently going into the system for sure. So these are being filed. Oh my God, I love this. All right, so this is her this is her answers, defense, and counterclaims. Now I'm going to pull up each one just so I can look at them and and see what she's answering. So as far as number 1 is concerned, this is under jurisdiction and venue. So it notes again that that's not a factual allegation requiring a response. That is, the complaint seeks damages in excess of $50,000. So yes, that's correct. You don't have to respond to that. Number 2, that talked about venue. The venue, Levy County, because Rod's complaint was accrued in Levy County. They say, oh, well, that's not a problem there. Now, number 3, let's see. Number 3 is denied important. Defendant Preston is a resident, Gilchrist County, Florida, and as such, so denied that she is a resident of county as she resides in Levy County, and without knowledge of the remaining part. What is the remaining? Oh. Okay, blah, blah. It doesn't really mean anything there. Doesn't help, doesn't matter. Number 4, again, they're already in court, so it's not going to help them with that. So general allegations. Now, this is the general allegation. Number 4 is on or about September 18th, 2024. Preston filed a lawsuit alleging that plaintiffs committed wrongful acts, sending a tort and damages for, and it goes through all of the complaints, intentional affliction of emotional. We went through all of that. Invasion of privacy, coercion, Now, so our answer: admit a lawsuit was filed in Levy County, Gilchrist County. Oh my God, this is so dumb. Yes, I admit there was a lawsuit. Okay. Very professional. It's very professional, right? Very professional. So let's see. Number 5. The proceedings commenced by Preston against plaintiffs originated solely with her actions. That's what she's responding to. She said, unknown what is meant by this allegation. Admit that Preston filed the referenced action through counsel. Yes, indeed. So it commenced against plaintiffs. It originated solely with her actions. I mean, if you think about it, she caused it all. She did it all. She decided that she, first of all, she brought Lloyd in. She had him living on the property. She made life unbearable, according to Lloyd. Lloyd decided to leave. People brought on. I mean, everything, all the way up through lawsuit and more. Everything's her actions. Okay. But okay, let's see. Number 6. As such, these actions constitute the legal causation of the proceedings that were commenced against plaintiffs. Like, that's calls for legal conclusion. Okay. My God, dude. This is so bad. I want to know who did this. I really do. A dismissal was filed with respect to the proceedings. That's 7. Who do you think wrote this? Who's your bet? Come on, wager right now. Who do you have in the thing? You can lock in now. You can change your minds later. But right now, if you're betting on one of the anti-Hales ponies, which pony are you ponying up for? You know, you have, let's say, 1,000 for $10. Which pony are you going to bet your proceedings on? You know? Mathing, indeed. I saw that one. That's funny. Oh, there's a lot of racers that are taking the babbles, the BBBs. Oh, there's some lips in the chat. There's also Chat GPT legal services. Yeah, that's right, baby. Oh, do we have any paint chips in the plan? Do we have any at all? We've got a few lips or lips of her hubby. There was one paint chips in there that I've seen roll by. Flubbles. I like that. Flubbles. That's Fleesa and Bubbles. Flubbles. That's beautiful. If that was it, that's amazing. You know, Cynic in Chief bets us $20 super chat that it was Bruce. Well, we'll see. Ooh, baby, this is going to be fun to find. I see. You bet on our show ponies, baby. Bet on their show ponies. So let's see, where were we? Oh, number 7, right? Yeah. So dismissal was filed. They note, quote, admit that voluntary dismissal was filed under Florida Rule 1420 without prejudice to pursue the claims at a later time. Okay. Again, I'm not arguing all this stuff. I'm not noting judge say what or anything like that. I'm just reading to you right this moment. Until I run across something so egregious, I'm like, oh my God, that makes my brain right. I see. Does it end with 8 or does it go for? Oh no, there's more than this one. All right. Let me lock that one in. I was trying to see. I'll make sure. Number 8. Is this result represents a bona fide termination of the proceedings brought by Preston's action that was in favor of plaintiffs. Now, denied. There was no litigation of the merits or any adjudication, and the dismissal was without prejudice. Now, you realize that when you terminate the proceedings, that actually is in the other party's favor. You do understand that, right? So when you bring a lawsuit and you decide all of a sudden, hey, you know, Dwayne said it was just J-Hip that did it. Dun, dun, dun. He's trying to get some marriage money. He's got to pay for that ring. He's got to get that bling on. I get you. That's a good bet, actually. It's really funny. So, number 9 is at no time material to this matter was there probable cause for the proceedings. They just answered denied on that. You're going with Perry Mason. Help. Perry Mason. Boy, that's a dark horse coming out of there, isn't it? Number 10 is in commencing the proceedings, Preston acted with malice against the plaintiff. They're like denied. And in number 11, as a result of foregoing, plaintiffs suffered damages. Denied. Yeah, they did indeed suffer damage. You know how they suffered damages? Because your dumbass made them pay. Pay to respond to this. That's where you screwed up, Preston. You had so many opportunities to dismiss it. You know, BBB tried to act like it was a conspiracy, that if you don't dismiss it by X amount of days, that you might have problems. Remember when he acted like a sanctions hearing didn't exist? You remember all that good stuff? Oh, so much fun. All right, let's pull up another page. There's more. So let's see. Good God, what in the world? Okay, so the defenses, my bad. When I was looking at it, I missed the fact that on the bottom of the page, there was actually a defense. My bad. I cut that one off too fast. My fictitious lawyer talent. That's funny. Okay, so defenses. Let's pull this up here, right? The plaintiff's claim is not ripe because it's not ripe. We need to send it back and let it ripen up because the underlying action did not terminate in their favor to give rise to standing for malicious prosecution claim. It did indeed terminate in their favor. When you decide to drop it like a jackass after talking all this stupid smack, it did indeed terminate in their favor. You know, you can't go in, just drop a freaking lawsuit. See, this is the thing that you cannot get across to these idiots. You can't just drudge up lawsuits, make people spend money, drop it, and pretend they didn't win. They have no cause to sue you. They 100% do. It doesn't matter. Even without prejudice, it doesn't matter. You still brought action. You didn't follow through. You have so many days that you can get away with something. And they didn't. They let them answer. You know, and there was no... Let's see. And there was no, of course, you know how this is going to go. They'll be like, there was never a trial. Let's see. Yep, of course. There was no litigation of the merits, nor any court ruling or adjudication of any issues whatsoever. Of course, you knew it would be. You knew that was the way that was going to go. It's their standard. We didn't do nothing. You know, it's like, yeah, you did. So 2, the claims in the underlying action voluntarily dismissed were and are meritorious. If they had merit, morons, why didn't you continue with them? That's the wonderful question, isn't it? Why is it that you decided to bring, and they're garbage claims. Like I said, we really do need to go over those because they are bad claims. But because it would, like, I know there are new people out there that have never heard the Trespass 5 lawsuit. It is I'm not kidding when I say this. This is not a biased answer. It is for real. I've read a lot of lawsuits, you know, a lot of them. And it is the worst written lawsuit I've ever seen. You, any of you out there that know nothing about law whatsoever, you could have put together a better lawsuit. I mean, the lawsuit rambles on about conspiracies and all this other. There's no way they win under that. That lawsuit, they'll get to pull it up and go through it and be like, what the hell is this? Remember, too, they didn't just, the Grangers weren't just the party involved. There were multiple parties, including going after a law enforcement officer, you know? And in this instance, they were 100% wrong. The law enforcement officer, they set the rules that were there. They were right in that too. Again, people do have the right to retrieve their property. You cannot stop them. They have the right to film as long as they don't film specific areas on the property. They had the right to film. They were told that they could. You know, you're not going to be able to get them for anything on that. It's wild. But the claim and the underlying action that is voluntarily dismissed are being refiled as counterclaims in this action as of right, demonstrating the absurdity of the plaintiff's claim. You just now filed this, morons. You filed this after dismissing and letting it sit and kicking it down. How many months has it been now? And you did nothing with the action whatsoever. You all have not shown any whatsoever, like any motivation to go forward with anything. You've had plenty of opportunity to refile, and you didn't. You absolutely didn't do that. So to say, well, down the road, I could file some, that's ridiculous. 12 years down the road. I mean, what in the nonsensical BS? Hey, did you like today's thumbnail, by the way? I've been playing with thumbnails more. Have you enjoyed the last few thumbnails? I think they've been pretty fun. You know, like, again, that picture on the front either. I did not use Lynette Preston's picture. That's the funniest thing. I just described a person in about a paragraph. and it gave me the template for that person I've been using. Now I did use the little Jeremy Hales that's popping up. I did make a few little Jeremy Hales, and I finally got them right in cartoon. I think they're funny, you know. I love them. But anyway, let's continue here. So, a claim voluntarily dismissed under 1.420 without prejudice as a matter of law does not give standing for a claim of malicious prosecution, or it cause 1.420 to have the opposite effect of its purpose. Oh, I can't wait for this. I cannot wait. Whereas it's intended to enable a litigant to withdraw a case for any reason without prejudice, as long as there has been no adjudication of the merits or summary judgment motion filed. If using 1.420 exposed every plaintiff dismissing case under the rule to a claim of malicious prosecution, there would be a counter incentive not to dismiss under 1.420, but to instead protract the lawsuit to have it decided on its merits. Yeah, see, they think that they can dismiss, and you spending $50,000, well, screw you. You see how crazy that would be? Like if you spent, it doesn't matter, I'm just throwing out 50,000 as an arbitrary sum, right? But you spending thousands of dollars, no matter what that sum is, they think that you have no legal recourse to get your money back. That on its face, does that sound legal to you? Does that sound right to you? Again, you don't have to be a lawyer to understand how absurd that sounds. Well, we have the right. We can dismiss. We can let it take as long as we want. We can file any garbage lawsuit we want, and you have no opportunity to do anything about it. I mean, can you imagine that? You know, what you would see is a deluge of freaking garbage lawsuits that are filed. You would have businesses and more, they would bleed people. You know, and I'm not talking about lawfare. I'm talking about, you know, when you see lawfare, they already do that with a protracted case. But what they would do is they would hit them. They'd hit them for a few months. They'd drop it. They'd refile the lawsuit. They'd hit them again, and they just keep doing it as long as they could. They would hit them with different businesses, you know, so they wouldn't violate any rules because there would be no cost to them except whatever their lawyer is. They would bring in some headhunters and they would destroy you legally. You see how absurd this idea is. And of course, look, there's this does sound like a Bruce line, doesn't it? This action is part of litigation for content schemed to generate storylines for YouTube from the proceedings. That does sound like one, doesn't it? Now, it's funny. The idea, I have the ability to talk about lawsuits that are filed by me or against me. The idea that I file that and, oh my God, if I made money with that too, they're like, oh, that's a scheme. If only. Again, the idea, you know, that's that ridiculous idea, like a Jeremy Hales. God knows. I don't know how much Jeremy makes, but I can tell you, making like $500,000 on that's not very easy. You know, that's a lot. And then the overhead, you know, because he's got all his other overhead and stuff. These ideas are so insane. So insane. Lawyers are expensive. Very expensive. The idea that you're filing this stuff, You know what's weird though? They say that it's a YouTube storyline generating proceeds, but who filed this lawsuit originally? I mean, who filed the thumbnail lawsuit? Who filed the Trespass 5 lawsuit? Who filed certain protective order? Who filed the original Leslie? No, I mean, who is out there filing and then covering? Who covers this? You know, like with Leslie, for example, when we got that litigation, you know how we found out about it? I didn't find out about it from the docket. I found out that there was a litigation because they gave it to Miltoast. He had it before it hit the docket. So for them to say that there's a scheme, you notice everything they claim, we notice usually bounces back at them, and that's usually their motive or something they've done. So it's kind of wild there. So now you got counterclaims. So the counterclaims here. On Sunday, August the 11th, 2024, while Miss Preston was at home on her property with her 4-year-old daughter, we don't need to say, well, I guess it's age. Who cares? It's just the way it breaks there. The recent Brett Granger arrived unannounced, accompanied by 3 other individuals and a sheriff's deputy, and informed. They actually did not inform Miss Preston at all. They didn't inform her of anything. The sheriff's deputy informed her. The Grangers did not have any back and forth. So that's actually not correct whatsoever. In fact, they limited it. It's all on video. Man, we need to watch that again too. So you can see and compare that to what's claimed. For Miss Preston, that they were there to retrieve an RV and other property supposedly belonging to a person, Lloyd Campbell, who had temporarily resided on Miss Preston's property, an RV, but was at the time convalescing in a nursing home from a broken hip. So, supposedly, that's weird. Now, she had the opportunity to say, and the police stuck with this too. If you watch video on this, she had the opportunity to state, that's my property. And when they did that, it was left there, and then Lloyd could argue it. I don't know what happened with specific properties or more, but they had the ability to argue. And she said, "No, take." And he resided on the property. He temporarily resided. Who decided that he wasn't going to be there anymore? Lloyd did. He has the right to leave. You can't hold him hostage, nor can you hold his property hostage. You can't make him reside on this property. This property sounds like a nightmare. I would not want to be. How many of you would want to live there? I mean, honestly, would you want to live there? Would you want to be forced to live there? I could. So Miss Preston vociferously objected to this unexpected intrusion, but the sheriff's deputy. Now, this right here destroys her claim, because this lawsuit is not against a sheriff. They already dropped all of that, and they have not tried to do anything in response to it. They've not tried to file anything. They basically, again, they decided, whatever reason, we're going to throw that on the dirt floor. Yeah. But sheriff's deputy allowed the Grangers and others onto her property, where they began freely roaming around. They actually did not freely roam around, by the way. They were not. The sheriff's deputy made damn sure that they confined themselves to a specific area. They weren't allowed to videotape specific areas. He made it very clear. This is why, when we were talking about recording any interaction with these folks, this is why you do it. Because they lie a lot, They lie a lot. So Miss Preston and HG were terrified and intimidated by having 5 people and an armed sheriff's deputy suddenly appear and disrupt the precinct privacy and invade their property. They tried to take this, and they tried to leave out the Lloyd Campbell part. They tried to make it sound like, just people showed up and there was nothing there. Now, while on Miss Preston's property, the Reese Granger, let's continue with this. Give me a moment. Goodness, there's so much of this paper. I've got to grab it. Come on, lock in. There we go. There's a lot of this, Oh, these people. Okay, so they wandered around her property, taking video footage of private locations, even threatening. Now, this is some bullshit right here. This is absolute bullshit. Where's the proof? Even threatening to video HG. Like, you look at how they try to weaponize this claim. This is a malicious claim right here. Give me a minute. I've got to do something real fast. Can you tell people I have not left? I will be back in less than a minute, but I have to grab something. I have to grab my meds. So I left them in the other room. It will take me a minute to come back, but I have to have them right now. All right, apologies. It took me just a second. I did not disappear on you. I apologize for that. Oh, I'm on a new schedule, a new routine. There's nothing wrong with me on that. I'm just on a new routine with something new. So I have to take it now. I forgot about it. It's brand new. So it's got me, it takes like 3 or 4 days to get it right. Oh, man. But apologies for that. It took me a minute. I forgot to bring that with me over here. Luckily, everything's pretty close to where I am. All right, here we go. So, Miss Preston, look, even threatening until she took action to shield the child from videoing. Oh, she took action. She shielded the child. She jumped in front of, look at this. The claim in this is such garbage. Really. You were quick, yeah. Actually, the area I have so this house has 3 levels. When we looked for a place, I was like, YouTube was starting to do decently well, and I was like, I need a level to turn into a YouTube area where I can make videos and stuff and do whatever. Also set up where the kids and I afterwards we can, we watch TV or whatever. So it's got its own enclosed area, and you can write that out for taxes. Remember that, folks. If you content create and you do it more than a hobby, you can write off taxes for a lot. If you ever do that, by the way, hit me up. I'll tell you all kinds of stuff you can write off. You'll have to hit a tax attorney up for it, but still it'd be worth it. Anyway, let's continue. So Miss Preston felt helpless and violated, and was terrorized that her daughter would somehow, terrified rather, that her daughter would somehow be harmed by the events. Again, this leaves out why things transpired. It makes it sound like, again, what they want is they want an armed invasion of her property. When in reality, again, the property, it was also Lloyd's property. That's the thing that they want to leave out. If you don't want people having the ability to access your property, don't give them the ability to access your property. Don't bring them on your property. Also, don't start posting about, again, that's so crazy. Lloyd said that he found out that John was posting about how he was going to get Lloyd's camper for $1. He was going to pay $1. And Lloyd was like, that's not going to happen, and they were like, don't worry about it. We're just saying that because da-da-da. I was like, that's really creepy. Do you not find that creepy? I find that really creepy. Like, if somebody were telling you, I've watched enough show, maybe I'm just paranoid, but if somebody were telling the world that they are going to take my domicile, my home, and they are going to buy it for $1. What's going to happen to me afterwards? Like, how is that going to explain? Was I just going to go on a sabbatical? Because this was his home. He didn't have another home. He ended up after the accident, getting with family. But at the time, he didn't think that'd work out. So, he was there for a while. How do you think that would work? That's very strange there. But anyway, let's continue. So, prior to the unannounced invasion of the property on August 11th, there were no prior attempts or communications by the Grangers or anyone. The Grangers are not obligated to contact you because they were invited on the property by Lloyd. This again is the problem they're going to run into. If you look up renters' rights, I have the right. Like if say I'll rented out part of my home here. Well, unfortunately, the person that I'm renting to, they have rights to have their property, to retrieve their property at any time. They're allowed to have guests. And again, there had been nothing prior to this where any of these parties had been trespassed from the property. There had been no complaints that had been followed up with, actual law enforcement where they said, yeah, something was wrong. So again, there was no issue that would keep them off the property. Lloyd has every right. It's his property too. That's what these folks, it's so disingenuous because he has the right. So, but they didn't contact or anyone to arrange with Miss Preston to have Campbell's property picked up. So she's admitting his property is there. Look at these admissions. These are problems. Whoever wrote this is an idiot because it doesn't matter. Your feelings don't dictate that I get to pick up property. Your feelings don't matter with that. When they're accessing the property, it is Lloyd Campbell's property too. You're admitting that his property is there and that they're there to retrieve the property. They just admitted it. Number 6 is the nail in your argument's proverbial coffin. I mean, that's a bad one for them. Now, as it turned out, the surprise invasion was the furtherance of a scheme to obtain video footage of Miss Preston's property for broadcast on YouTube. Actually, you know what the broadcast did is it clarified many of the lies. You notice she talks about how they had this scheme. Like again, if we roll back to number 4 here, where they were saying that she was even threatening to video. We had the ability to see the video. We had the ability to see the raw video. And when you look at the raw video, what it does is it proves that this stuff is garbage. I would not have any type. Even with John, I wouldn't have any communications. Either one of them. Actually, Lynette Preston should videotape everything with John, and John should videotape everything with her. They should be videotaping each other all the time because they accuse each other of some massively bad stuff. She accused him of abuse the other day and then pulled it down after whatever. But she said he's abusive. I mean, she did that the other day. She accuses people of abuse. And again, I don't know. I was told forever to believe her until I was told that she's a liar. But I don't know what to believe anymore. I was told for the longest time to listen and believe her. So, But yeah, I'm glad that there were actually broadcasts here. Because otherwise, the story on the channels broadcasting the property invasion footage was that HG was in danger, as evidenced by the cluttered property condition and based on other false statements, and a Save HG cause sprang up among the subscribers in these YouTube channels. You know how I would shoot this down right here? Who owns Save Harley Grace? Who owns the website? Would you like to see pictures from Save Harley Grace since they talk about Save HG? Who owns that? I mean, I'm curious. Who do you think owns that website? Do you think it's here, give me a second. Do you think that it's the Reese Granger that owns that website? Do you think it's Jeremy Hales that owns that website? Do you think it's subscribers? No. Let me pull up. You can actually see what this website it is. So here, give me a second. This, as you can see, is saveharleygrace.com. This is their website. Now, again, I have removed all pictures of the child here because I find it distasteful that there are so many pictures. But if you look at the entirety of it, in no way, shape, or form is this owned by the Grangers or Jeremy Hales or Rex West or the deputy that was there and so on, or Deanna. It's actually put together by these people. These people own the movement for Save Harley Grace. So if they want to talk about that and they want to talk about it being such a horrible violation, well, maybe they need to take it up with these people. Maybe they should be the people you're suing. Just saying. But let's continue. Just like, you know what? That's very disingenuous. It bothers me when I hear that that's the reality, because it's not the reality. So, the purpose of the video and accompanying contrived story about the danger to HG was part of the storyline of an emergency custody removal proceedings. Oh my God. I wish they would stick to one narrative, you know. I mean, really, one day we need to go through for sure the original lawsuit, because my God, I mean, it's all part of it. We're gonna have to, because they're trying so hard to make all of this. They're trying to make this strange conspiracy that any person would find it very difficult to make fit. Again, why would you videotape? Because these people lie. That would be my answer. That would be, these people lie. In fact, let me reference their own PR team. Let me reference their own lawyer. I can find instances where their own freaking PR team is calling them a liar and a thief and all this other madness. That would be the way I'd roll. If I need to take them apart, I would take them apart with their own mouthpieces, because their own mouthpieces. Oh, that would be really funny. Who, by the way, Lynette, who would you call as a witness? Who would you be able to get on your side anymore? I'm curious about that. You know, with any litigation, at one time she had bragged about she had these people that were going to help her do this, that, or the other. Again, who's on your side anymore? My point here is too, Lynette, yes, I mock you with this, but listen to me. The people who are telling you to push this are not acting in your best interest. The ones that told you this lawsuit would move forward, listen to it. Look up renters' rights. They told you were going to get paid. I saw the messages, some of them. I saw them. They had you thinking that you're going to get paid. Now, right now, you're on the hook for over $50,000. And if you continue with this, you're going to be on the hook for more. And you're not going to be able to discharge it, lady. I'm telling you. When you look at this stuff, ask yourself, how many times have the people you've relied on for legal advice been right? I mean, these lawsuits right here, you're looking at really getting, you're hoping that a bankruptcy will allow you some Hail Mary and delay and maybe write stuff off. That's your hope, because otherwise you're screwed. But this caused thousands of YouTube watchers to publicly call for Miss Preston's loss of a child, placement with people whom HG has never known. Following the broadcast of the Grangers' video footage of the invasion of Miss Preston's property, CPS visited Miss Preston 3 times from anonymous calls. By the way, that's weird. I actually saw, now they tried to deny it last night and tried to say, we didn't talk about calling CPS. Well, yes, they actually talked about wellness checks and they talked about CPS. They want to lie about it, but luckily, yours truly pulled up everything on that. I got screenshots of them talking about doing wellness checks on her. I got screenshots of them talking about how CPS, be called. It's funny. They last night they were like, no one called. This is a direct message or a direct quote. No one said call CPS. I said her posts are going to make people call CPS. Right. Right. They said, she puts out there that she's being abused, and HG is obviously there when it happens. So how does CPS not do something? Doesn't that tell people to call? Isn't that what that is? Yeah, I could see that, and they talk to somebody. But can you imagine what things HG's hearing from Michelle? She's nuts. I mean, look at what she's posting. Does she seem like a stable parent? Again, does that sound like them being like, they told me for the longest time. They sued people over comments like that. They said, again, she's posting, people are going to call CPS. Now, who was talking about those? These people are. Now, were you and I talking about, yeah, we were laughing about it. None of us are going to call CPS. I mean, my God. But I mean, they had multiple. By the way, we also, remind me, when we have the next, oh my God, when we have the next Rumble, sorry, I got laughing. We need to show you the footage. So she did broadcast a little bit of something when she had her live stream. She actually did manage to get a little bit of it out there. It was pretty funny. She's like, stretching my legs, stretching my legs. Anyway, let me continue. Okay. As a result of each visit resulted in finding no findings of any abuse or danger. By the way, like I said, her own team, though, like she should be very careful in talking about the child with this, because again, her own team talked about how they were worried about the child, how she uses the child and weaponizes. They actually said that the other night. These are your PR folks. These are your own people. You realize that can be used against you, right? I mean, your own PR said that the other night. I know, I picked it up myself. I made sure to pick up the transcript and go through it. And it was money, I'm sure a lot of other people watched it too. It was something though. Let me see. I can actually find. Gosh, man. Yeah, here it is. So if you disbelieve that, by the way, they said it themselves. They said that she's using the child. She's using her. Yeah. I've never seen it before, but her post now, she's desperate. She's definitely using the child. And by the way, she says, she's tired of watching her daughter go downhill and disintegrate. Maybe you should get off the phone all day, bitching and complaining to everybody else about your entire life. And maybe do that yourself. You say she's falling apart. Well, hey, that's not our fault. We didn't cause this. That's your problem. So again, they're saying you're a terrible parent. All you do is sit on the phone all day long and you do nothing with your child. That's your own PR. Again, these are your own people that not too long ago you said you would be able to call as character witnesses. So again, how are you going to make this lawsuit continue and move forward? That's my question. Let me see. I think there's another page. There's another page, by the way. I'm curious about this. How do you think this is going to work for you? She copied and pasted some of this, but some of it's been worked on a little bit. So Miss Preston was terrified from what she was seeing and hearing on YouTube, Facebook, and other platforms, which the Granger's video was broadcast on, believing that she could have her child taken from her in a secret court proceedings that the YouTube broadcasters were claiming were underway for that purpose, being supported by the video footage. I told you, that's exactly what Bruce was trying to claim, by the way. I told you 100%. That's the way he was angling. 100% him. But as it turned out, a law firm did file an ex parte fictive kin petition on behalf of the sister of the child's biological father, although this aunt had never met the child since birth. Wasn't that not true, by the way? Hadn't they met the child? Hadn't they had contact with them? I thought there were posts that talked about that. Again, I've never dug into this part right here. You know, I never got involved in the adoption part. Again, I think the red flags that are there are Lynette Preston's own words. I think they are much more damning than anything else. Because again, when she's saying to people that that there's a person on her property, that they're now all living in a tight shed compacted together, you know, with no air conditioning, according to 2L, when they're all living together like that, and she's made all these claims and stuff, but she wouldn't tell CPS. Yeah, that's its own red flag. And by the way, as a public service announcement, do not contact any agency or persons that we are discussing in this. It doesn't help. Let things move through the court system and watch the shit show. So, the petition was dismissed out of hand because the aunt had no standing. The Grangers provided the video footage, knowing to be part of that. Now, do they have any proof that the Grangers provided that for that purpose? Did they provide footage for that? Is there any proof whatsoever that they did that? No. It's crazy. You can take, again, ultimately, they go on property to retrieve a man's belongings because he's like, I'm scared. I can't be here anymore. I'm terrified of these people. They go on. These are people, by the way, that even John Cook and Lynette Preston, they admit saved the life of John Cook at one time. They were nice enough to save these people's lives, you know. Oh, and now they're so supposedly monsters. They were the people you used to call for your emergencies until they just couldn't be manipulated, I suppose. Kind of weird. But count one, invasion of privacy intrusion. The Grangers knew they were entering Miss Preston's property on the pretext for the purpose of wandering around videoing property and condition and clutter. Look at that. They admit, look, they went on there to videotape the condition and clutter. They're telling you it's a fucking mess. Like, isn't that amazing? Look at the admission to that. Like, that's crazy. So the claim there is they're saying, oh, it's bad enough that people could have spawned a Save HG storyline out of it. That's a wild claim when you think about it. So, such footage on YouTube to fulfill a Save HG storyline for content and to terrorize Miss Preston. The Grangers intruded on Miss Preston's property and privacy by entering for pretextual reasons and then wandering around and videotaping. As a result, Miss Preston and HG have suffered down. What damages, by the way? What damages? Where's the proof of damages? Sorry, I hit my tooth there. Hit them together. I was like, wait a minute. I think the mic picked me up doing that. Count two, invasion of privacy. Publication of private information. The Grangers knew for the purpose of pretextual entry onto the property was to obtain video footage of the property. The Grangers knew and intended video footage would be broadcast of YouTube, including their own channel, Madam Mayor's Adventures, and other YouTube channels that were using Miss Preston's life for content stories such as HD was in danger. What private information? What private information exactly? What private areas? What areas, what areas did you see in that video that you have not seen before from Fish and Game, for example? What did you see that was different in that? Like, what did you get to look into or see into? They didn't tape inside of the barn skeleton, whatever the fuck they call that now. They didn't videotape inside of the, now they don't even have them RVs or any sheds. So what did we see that we've never seen before? You know? I mean, the one thing, we had an explanation for a couple of things, like the refrigerator. Well, you know, we heard the debate over that, but besides that, I mean, what did we see? So the video footage depicted private areas and revealed private information that a reasonable person would not want publicized. It was not a matter of public interest. Oh, it very much was. Them saying that all of this could spawn a movement where people worried about a child, wouldn't that be public interest? Wouldn't them saying that thousands of people and all these people that see it, you know, again, and would be, wouldn't that say there's public interest? Wouldn't, I mean, their own claims where they're saying that people are using Miss Preston's life for content? Isn't that saying there's public interest? Isn't me having 3,000 people here talking about this? Actually, we had up to 3,200 for today. That's awesome. Isn't that saying that this is a matter of public interest? Do you realize over 1,000 people, actually, I think it's over 800 and something, but I go with 1,000. Do you realize over 1,000 people in attendance is in the top 1% of streamers throughout the millions of channels there are? So to say that something that's more than the media can pull down easily for most stuff. So when you're talking about it, wouldn't you say that that says that this again is public interest? Huh. That number's right, by the way. There's one more page. One more page, baby. Now, again, they couldn't file all this before. They just had to play games. Now, as a result of the broadcast of the video footage depicting her property and publicly revealing private information, she suffered damages. What damages again? I don't know. Just create some damages, baby. You know? Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Their actions were extreme and outrageous. Yeah, you shouldn't help dude get his property, dude. And you shouldn't videotape for your safety. I mean, again, these people are notorious liars. You know, what's funny is at the time, John Cook was in jail. What was he there for? Pulling a what now on who? Now, with that, again, with the accusations of that, and we have the protective order that has been taken out for other people, don't you think that recording for your safety makes sense? I think that's going to be a problem for them too. Because the things that have happened on their property, the allegations that were going on right at that time was that John Cook had pulled a pew-pew on people. She had hit it and more. That right there would make me worry about my safety and want to videotape. Wouldn't you? Now, again, there's a protective order because there have been a pew-pew pulled on other people too. Wouldn't that make you want to, again, you're doing a nice thing, but wouldn't you want to make sure that your safety good to go? Now, the actions were intentional, extreme, outrageous. They knew or should have known their actions would cause a reasonable person to suffer emotional distress. Miss Preston suffered severe emotional distress as a result of the actions, including resulting CPS calls by people who saw the video footage of the property on the YouTube channel and were influenced to make. Now, again, they're saying, isn't it bizarre that they're saying, again, just seeing the property made people call CPS? Again, that's wild, isn't it? like their claims, that makes it sound like the place is a death trap, does it not? I mean, when you're if I were reading over that, I'm like, wait a minute. Are you saying that the property is that scary? What are you claiming? You know, man. So Miss Preston suffered severe emotional distress as a result of being terrified due to hearing about an emergency custody removal proceeding from that the Granger's video footage, Miss Preston's property, was being used to garner public support for among YouTube viewers. So wherefore? So she asks for, again, her damages, you know. Wherefore, and again, she's noting she's pro se, but prepared with the free assistance of a lawyer. Again, it will be very interesting to see where that guy, again, you're going to have to disclose who that is. Again, just saying random dude X help me. Random lawyer help me, but that's not how it works. So that will be fun. Again, bets are, I have my bets on BBB, but we'll see. We will see. I mean, again, you could have someone connected to lips. We don't know yet. Really don't know yet. But it'll be fascinating to find out. So that right now, again, now just a note too, tomorrow we will have plenty to go. Let's assume nothing happens tomorrow, okay? Nothing new happens whatsoever. One of the things, again, I pointed this out earlier, but I really want to make this point, okay? Preston has posted a lot, and I really do want to hear. You know, she said people don't want to hear what she has to say. Oh, I'm all ears, lady. You're talking about 2L in the gang. So I definitely want to hear what you have to say. So she posted this. Again, look at all the stuff that has been posted in the last few days. You have this. This by itself, like I was saying, look at the size of this. That is one hell of a post. Is it not? Look at it. It's still going, by the way. That's a lot of posts, is it not? You have other posts. You have, again, one we just went over. But you have all of her other stuff that she has posted here, too. You know, the LRV, the asks for assistance. She said this too. I thought this was in her food for thought. How many people would want to be in a 16 by 20 shed? 16 by 20, by the way. I mean, with ex-husband. So you're living in a 16 by 20. I want you to envision that. 16 feet, okay? Like that is the, again, let's put this in people. Like if they're laying down on the ground, this is roughly, if we're going with an average height male, this is not, it's like, we're going to call it 3 average height males, just back to back to back. Now it's not really, you would actually have to take off some inches there by 3 and then part of a head. That is a tiny area for 3 people to reside in. Now, here's the thing, Lynette, you have to understand. I don't give a shit about you or John or the kids or any. I don't care. They're not my problem. I hate it. The kid has to go through this, but it's not my problem. I don't owe you money. You have money. Lisa has your money. You talked about getting a lawyer. You need to go through with it. Again, like I said, I put this out there. I would most definitely, I want to know. You can either talk to me about it, or I want to know how much money do you think was there? How much money over that time do you think you brought in? How much money has actually been spent by your knowledge? Have you been given money out of that too? And if so, you need to know an accurate accounting and what else has been spent. You will have to be honest with that. 100%. You can post this. I mean, what does it matter? They're not giving you your money. So those 3 things right off the bat, because again, I think they're lying to you about the totals. I think there was much more money than you are aware of or anyone is aware of. I'd like to know what happened to that money. If you have been given money, they said something about 3 payouts. So if there were 3 payouts to you, how much money did they give you out of that? Why do you think there's $18,000? I believe that's what they told you. But why do you, first of all, are you going just simply by what they're telling you? Have you seen any accounting whatsoever? Because I know you don't have full access to any other accounts, so you have no idea. But again, what do you think's taken away from the money? Now, they're telling you again, like I said yesterday, they're saying that Lynette Preston was a greedy hog that and was too bougie for the fence that they actually offered. So Lynette Preston, she demanded a nicer fence. She had to have something better, and they had to do like the 4th, instead of the rung they were going, it was 4 rungs up. I agree with the way they described it. I agreed with Preston, to be honest. First of all, they were like, she didn't even want that, but we did it because she needs it. But they didn't want it. They weren't grateful at all. Now I disagree. I think that's a lie too. I have seen posts, and other people have been reposting them, that show that she did thank people. She very much so, publicly facing, she was thankful to people for that. That's a lie. I mean, behind the scenes, maybe she was gruff and horrible, but prove it. Prove she did that. I mean, again, but I don't think they'll show messages. I don't think they'll show, oh, by the way, so she also, let's see if they're still here. Yeah, so she put this up. This is interesting, by the way. So she said that she had never taken screenshots, but it says it on the thing. Like, this is her communications that she put up, and you can see where Lisa takes screenshots, and she ends up taking screenshots too. You recorded the screen, you took a screenshot, and she's telling them, I didn't take a screenshot, but it says it on there. So okay, but she records this, so this is part of that. I went ahead and got it in case it disappears, but you shouldn't disappear anything, Lynette. Again, you're doing the right thing. You should be 100% transparent about your involvement with these people. She has her money, and there's more discussion through this, and then she puts up all of these messages right here, and these are interesting. I mean, there's a bunch of messages between these two. I went ahead and picked those up as well. But again, shouldn't delete them. You should leave them up there for transparency, because these people, again, Lynette, they tried to burn your life down. And you say all of us are terrible and these people were your saviors. They're not. I think we've been very honest with you. I don't have to like you, Lynette. I've been giving you good advice, I believe, for a long time. I've been telling you what's going to happen with your litigation. I've been telling you not to do certain things, and I think people have told you you should. They've walked you into a hole, and they're still walking you in there. And you cannot hear good advice. But you should. I think we've given you plenty of it. You think we're mean? I'm not obligated to nicety. I don't have to be nice to you. But I've given you better advice than your lawyers have, in my opinion. I think Silverman gave you good advice. At least at the end. He was like, hey, let's get out of this. Again, I think Bruce going after him is crazy. But I digress. Again, if you ever have a hope of getting that money back, it won't be through them. They're not planning on giving you any of it. In fact, they say they're putting a time limit on it, and they're going to, quote unquote, give the money back. Again, how much money did they collect? How much money are they sitting on now? I think a lot of it is gone. The one person that can make them tell, though, is you. You're the one that can do it, Give me a second here. Oh, my. That's awesome, Miltoast. So Miltoast also put up here's a wonderful, thank you by the way for sending this over to me. There's a wonderful conversation Miltos was involved in where he talked about how all the channels are in decline here, right? Views and subs are down across the board. They're not pushing for any of us, except if you look at his breakdown, the antis and himself, oh, they're good to go, but everyone else is screwed. And the person talking to him, Lori G here, says that YouTube will stop pushing channels reported for hate content. So you guys are admitting that you have been trying to destroy businesses. Thank you. Thank you for putting that up. So you put up proof that there's damages. You're showing these weirdos that actively flag something that makes them feel that they are doing damages. Again, you're being sued for this. Smart move. You know, advertisers don't want to associate with hate groups. I'm reporting all of their channels daily. Thank you, Miltoast. This right here, I'm going to make sure that this gets to the people suing your stupid ass, because you can't get out of your own way. You are an idiot. You just, like I said, he posted where channels are down. Hales is on the out. He posted proof that they're targeting. It's helping. Thank you. You made the point to Jeremy Hales. I appreciate you doing that, man. Because like I said, I can say this until I'm blue in the face, and Jeremy can say it, but you know, you have to hire experts to prove it. But you went out of your way to post it, and don't bother removing it. You're in a lawsuit already. You take it down. That's just proof that you tried to ghost what you stated. People go over and look at it. It's amazing. It is. Look at this stupid ass community post. I would never post something like that. Now, when I'm being sued because it is admission that a business is being damaged, I swear to God, these are the dumbest people alive. And thank you for sending that over. I don't think they would care. You know who spawned it? I know they wouldn't care. They have a show and everything. You know who sent it over? Coop and Georgie. So positive props to them for sure. Props to them anyway. I went over and goofed off the other day. I was having fun over there and having a pretty good time. You know, unfortunately, Georgie wasn't there that day. Coop was there. Veteran Nation was there. And it was a pretty good broadcast. I had a lot of fun. You know, I had a lot of fun there. Give me a second. I'm looking for something else. I saw one other thing come in. I want to see what it is real quick. I want to see if this is something we need to cover. Okay. Actually, I was trying to see something. Yeah, it's another bankruptcy document is what I'm looking at. I love it though, because again, in the menu, you know, in the notice lists that they have like, again, Cricket Wireless is in there, which is beautiful. I love the fact that that's in there, for example, and you have Verizon and more. I mean, they put in 3 T-Mobile. That's so amazing. Anyway, let's hit some super chats. I love it. I love the fact that they put in all of these different outlets that they didn't turn over. I mean, they've done more for Discovery with just a few moves in that. It's amazing. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's continue with our super chats. And thank you all, folks, for being here. It has been a crazy one. I've enjoyed it. All right. Let's start out again. Max Lab, saw you kick it off first. Appreciate you, my friend. Max Lab, to give props to Max Lab, everybody, if you would. He, again, stays on top of the game and sends stuff out. I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy. And I'm not just talking about filings, you know, Max Lab. And there's others of you as well. If you want props, let me know, you know, but that let me know when there's posts and other things and make sure to catch them. You know, you're dealing with people that delete a lot. The person, one person sent over all of that Stupid Dave stuff. And again, I don't know if they want it noted. There are a bunch of people that are like, please don't know who I am, because these people will target me and they'll target my life and they'll go after things. It's pretty awful. So that's why I'm so careful about it with you folks. Wheezy, thanks for the 20 there. Little something for the toiletries. Well, thank you for that. That is much appreciated. They're hanging out today, by the way. That's why they haven't been raiding. They've been doing more sister activities, which is a lot of fun. I love watching them get a lot. You know, they'll argue and you can like be goofy about stuff, but they have been doing a lot more together. I love it. I love seeing them like do stuff together. Like I said, they've been watching movies together, and the oldest has been reading books to the little one too. I read her books in the day or sometime at night before, but it just depends on what she wants. But the oldest has been reading to her. It's funny. She was reading a ghost story the other day, and I thought, man, the little one, like, you know, she was curled up by her, like she was scared. You know how like kids are. And I was like, is that scary for you? She's like, no, it's not too scary. She's like, come on, sissy, tell it to me. You know, she get messing with her like you do with campfires. I thought it was really cute. But thank you, Easy Wheels. They'll appreciate that. I bought, oh my gosh, you know those Hot Mama pickles? So the oldest has been on a kick. There's actually Five Below has a bunch of those Hot Mama pickles, and she loved those things, man. So they put them on clearance, and I ended up buying 11 of those Hot Mamas and putting them away. It was like, do not touch all those at once. No, you know, hold through the floor. But it's so funny. Jack's mom, thank you for the gifted membership. Thank you, Jack's mom. I appreciate you too. Thank you. Wheezy Wheels, thanks for the 13 months. Missed you guys. Miss you too. I'm glad you're here. It's awesome that you're here. I appreciate it. I love it. I love it when I see people like inform here to return. Like, again, tomorrow we will be here, and then I think Megan's supposed to be back Wednesday. So I'm thinking we'll be back on her channel Wednesday. I don't know. We'll see how that shapes out. But we will definitely be going Wednesday no matter what. I go, you know, I haven't taken a day off this week, actually. I've enjoyed it. I'm like, man, I feel good. I'm in prime form. Pumping those E-weights, baby. You know, that's so dumb. Wheezy Wheels, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Oh, Lord. It's so funny, some of the stuff you say when you're lying around. Pumping the E-weights. Wheezy Wheels, I do appreciate you, though, for sure. You're awesome. I love your little avatar, too. It's so cute. Fallen Hero, thank you for the gifted membership there. Fallen Hero, what's up, man? Every day, brother. Every day. Appreciate you. Yeety McYeedison. I need a birthday song. All right. We will bust you up. Let's get it to you. Here we go.
Happy birthday!
From
both of us to you.
Everybody to you.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
May all your dreams come true.
May all of them.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
We love to have you here. Happy birthday! Here's to another year.
1 million, baby. 1 million. Props to you, Yeety. Appreciate you, brother. SF, thanks for the 5. She could sell the property, and then the bankruptcy court would claw back the property and money from the sale. Indeed. That would be a real mistake. I just, like, who's actually buying it? Again, you know, when you look at it, is that more contrived bullshit where Tina and these people are trying to cause more problems for Jeremy, or is it other buyers using their name? I wonder who else it could be. So I don't know. There's just been a lot of stuff again lately that feels like it's aimed at taking everything away from her. They've talked about how crazy she is. She can't be trusted with money. You know, they've questioned her parenting. All of these things, again, they're supposed to be her advocates, right? But they've done all of that. They've essentially put her under a faux guardianship as far as the money that's donated is concerned. They're like, yeah, you have no ability to spend that money correctly. We need to hold it for you. Well, now, again, they were talking about her property. Somebody else needs to hold your property for you because you don't have the responsibility to hold on to that. Then you can do all this stuff and live there for free. Very strange, right? Very strange. I say Wombat. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate you, Aussie, as always. I love that avatar. Every time I think of you, like I think my kids got to learn about what wombats are because of you. So I love it. Buck Naked, thanks for the 5 there. They can't deal with brew tape. Exactly. How are they going to deal with blueprints? That's true. That's true. Will they be mortified by the blueprints? Will they too work as kryptonite? What if the two were put together? What if the blueprints had blue tape on them? Would it be like some kind of blue colored inception? Be like, oh no, it's created a vortex in the world. There was Doug too. Doug noted. Now, I listened to her live. Lisa's saying Tina will get the permits, complete the barn, and that Tina now owned, and Lynette could live there still. See, again, I've got the clip of it though, and it said in there that one of the neighbors, again, this is how it was stated exactly. I went through and I pulled the word for word. So she said it as one of the neighbors offered to buy her property. They would be able to get the permits. They, like, again, if they're buying the property, is she saying Tina really? Because she uses they. So is she saying that Tina would, and this is a question when you listen to it, because the way I took it as the money that you get would allow you to buy it. They would get the permits. They would be able to not just work on the barn, but complete the barn. See, this is why I thought they, like when you look at it again, we'll pull this up, like I said, when we do our next Rumble. That way we can really like note it. But the way it is, again, this is a Dropbox transcript. Dropbox transcripts work a lot better. Because so they noted, one of her neighbors wants to buy it. Now, the they here could have been, again, one of the neighbors, or it could be Lynette. But this next they, the reason I think this is Lynette is because the next day that they say they will be able not to just work on the barn, but complete the barn. So, and we're willing to let them live there rent free. So, now again, the way I read it, again, but okay, if they're talking about Tina, what are they telling me that they're going to pay? Again, they told me that there's over $50,000 in work that needs to be done to the barn, because they said over $50,000 would not be enough, and more, because they were saying all of the money that was donated, there wouldn't be enough. This is before their 18 grand bullshit. This is before when they were talking about all of it. So they're going to pay $20-something thousand, plus they're going to pay all of that. I mean, again, according to their math, you're talking $100,000. And you may be right, man. Again, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying this is the way I think about it. And I appreciate your comment, and I appreciate your support too, my friend. But Lynette on that, that's nuts. I agree. Yeah, David on there, that they tried to tell Lynette they'd buy and finish and let her live. That's what they're saying. And again, I appreciate it. Like, again, when I listen to it, we'll play it again and we'll see. But like I said, David, I said David. I don't know why the fuck I'm saying David. Doug, man, I don't know what's in my brain here. I don't know why I keep saying David. Oh, let me reset. Doug. I'm sorry, man. It's been one of those days, though. Doug. Appreciate you, brother. I don't know why I keep saying David. I don't know. I've read so many. It's probably because I've read so many posts by Lynette in the last day that I feel like I'm swimming in a non-punctuated stew. And by the way, I appreciate one thing about this more than anything, David, and it's not just the point or the backing. You know what I appreciate? The commas. The commas. I swear. You know. I mean, her right, man, it is rough to read. It is rough to read. Could you imagine, though, if they took her property and they did all of that, why would they do that for Lynette Preston? That's the thing. Why would Tina and what was his name? Brian? Is that the guy's name? Am I thinking of the right name? Or I can't remember the guy's name. Somebody fill that in for me, you know? Yeah, I know. I called him David. I keep doing it. Doug. I need to make a Doug song, you know? It's Doug, not David. It's Doug, not David. I turn it into metal. Doug, not David. It's so tough. I apologize there, man. I don't know what's my problem. Yeah, Brian. All right. But with that, I mean, what would be the plan? Would they be willing to drop all of that money just to be that nasty with Jeremy Hales? Is that what they're telling me? Or is it something else? Because like I said, once you scoop the property out from under Lynette, if they have enough money to do that and to follow this plan, you know, the only problem with all of that would be Lynette Preston. Like, she would be the problem. Because none of these people like her long term. The enemy of my enemy can only be my friend for a little while. Especially if that person is also a disruptive clown. You know what I mean? So it does make me wonder. So what's up, Jack Small? Thanks for the 5 there. I'm surprised I didn't somehow butcher your name. Call you like Jacob's mom or some ridiculousness. I'm on a roll tonight, man. Jack's mom, though. Thank you. But what's the deal with Japan? If by slim chance there's an option for her, can they grab a passport? And how is she paying for that? Yes. Did you all see that post about Japan, by the way? She's posting that her and her child are going to move to Japan. I mean, that was wild. That's what I've been careful, like, not to throw everything into one big wall, because first of all, she's posted too much to cover in 1 or 2 shots. But when I saw the post where she's talking about me and my kid are going to move, here it is. Like with Japan, and I was like, what? See, here it is. This is the post that's discussed, by the way, if you all haven't seen this. I don't know if you have or not, but there's this lengthy post here, right? And I'm not going to cover it all. I just want to post this part of it. It said, her own biological mother couldn't say you need to leave my family alone one day when this is over. Harley Grace and I are going to have a house in Japan. She's going to live the life I always wanted her to live. They're going to live in Japan? Like everybody was like, how is that going to happen? You're going to live in Japan? You know? I hate to tell you, but your $5,000 RV, and unless you got some James Bond features I never heard of, it's not going to make it over to Japan. I'm just saying. They don't exactly float that far. So, but yeah, that's part of we will definitely discuss all these posts. But yeah, she was saying, hey, we're going to move to Japan. That is wild, isn't it? Maybe not. Thanks for the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you. Maybe not, as always, too. It's amusing to see that. I love it and I appreciate it. So thank you, maybe not. Adair, thank you for the 17 months. Oh, man, it's your birthday. I know you enjoy it. Hey, man, I enjoy you, brother. You always make me laugh about that. Give me... Happy birthday! Happy birthday! From both of us to you. Happy birthday! Birthday, my friend. May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday. That's right. We love to have you here. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Here's to another year. I need to redo do that with 1,000,000 years because I love saying that. Happy birthday to you. I hope you have a great one, by the way. I hope it has been great. Maxlet, thanks for the 2. The bankruptcy lawyer failed to respond today. It's last he asked for the 3-day thing. I'm curious what'll happen with that. There was a filing though. Something mailed out. Again, I was looking at it earlier. It was a list. I wonder if that is maybe an item that was sent out. And give me a second. Let me check and see what that was now. Because I saw something. There's a let's see. There's a certificate of service of notice of non-evidentiary hearing. That's actually what's there. So it's sent out by Jerome there, and it notes, I hereby well, let me pull it up. Give me a second, okay? So this is the document, man. Give me 1 second. I was just thinking, man, I think I might have this before you. This is document 36. So give me 1 minute. Here, how many times I got to click to get it over here? Now, this is going to have addresses to the bottom, so I'm not going to scroll past a certain point, okay? Just a note. I'm only going to scroll so far. This is all public information, but still I'm not going to scroll beyond. But this, again, is just noting that I hereby certify a true and correct copy of notice of non-evidentiary hearing. That'd be number 35 on the debtor's motion to reinstate case. 34 was served simultaneously upon the court docketing thereof. All parties are registering to receive notices of electronic filings. I also certify on September the 15th a copy of said document by first class SUES mail, postage paid, and otherwise. So this was apparently filed today. That went in today. So I will note that. I'll pull that up. But there's there's some questions to go along with all that. Mostly harmless fuzzball. Thanks for the 5 there. Did the bankruptcy lawyer go to the same law school as Lips and Chips? Feels like it. Feels like it faux show, doesn't it? Hi, hey, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. We got for the theater, by the way, we got your dogs added on. Like I said, if you want yourself added in, let me know. If you would send over a picture specifically you want to add it for you too. Let me know about that. I'll Muppetize it and slide it in there too. But thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. It is good to see you. Love to you. Like I said, let me know about that. Okay. Andre, thanks for the 2. I hope Madam Mayor puts a lien on the property. Indeed. Indeed. I don't think they've paid Jeremy his money either. They owe him a few $1,000s, and they're not going to be able to discharge that money either. That money comes from a protective order. Again, they're going to find out real quick. They think they've got Lynette convinced they're going to be able to make that money again. They've got some real problems in that. It'll be fascinating to see. Lily, thanks for the 5. She does not care if it'll increase what she owes. She has no intention of paying. I mean, that's true too. That is true too. Here's the thing though, Lynette, you will lose everything this way. Your problem is, no matter what you think will happen in Fed 2, the lawsuit with all the other people, you're really in trouble, Lynette. Like, you're in bad shape. So losing everything, well, I mean, again, you're living in a shed right now. What happens when your shed, what happens when that's all gone? Then what? Nursing home? What happens to the child? I mean, again, this nonsense, lady. Ugh. Panther Us, thank you for the 5 there. How do we know the money isn't coming from Fleesa if Flea won to buy the property, not Tina? Again, that's a good question. That's what I wonder. That's what I wonder too. Because they said, well, it's this person. But yeah, how do we know it's not the money that was donated that's being utilized to do? I mean, hell, we don't know. Like all this seems like some crazy control contrivance for not really Lynette. You know, the moneymaker isn't Lynette, it's the kid. That's who a lot of people found out. So, and be careful in that. I mean, who knows what these people want from you? Cindy, thanks for the 5 there. They want Element OP to use the money she gets for the sale to finish the barn. They would then evict. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You know, finish it up. Then when she's on there, they would end up kicking her off for cause. Because, you know, there's always cause in a contract. Yeah, I'll let you live here for free. But there's always some kind of stipulation with it where you can be kicked off for cause. So that's what I was thinking, you know. You bust her off there for cause. Her finishing it would add value for the new. Yes, indeed. It would. And it would go a long ways to saying that land was never a junkyard. And the idea you can buy it back, well, is it going to be at the same cost? Because you're going to add value to it too. So when their own efforts go into finishing the barn dominium, when that's all done, what would they charge? I mean, again, it's a crazy idea. William, thanks for the 5 there. Come on, mathin'. How can the math not make sense to a math genius mathin'? I know, man. What's up? Actually, the other day, I really felt like I had an epiphany. Because again, when they started talking about, again, quoting their own words, when they started talking about the $19,000 and then saying that they had 18,000 out of that, I thought, wait a minute. They keep saying there's only 18,000. They're only talking about, again, I feel like they're crediting one donation because otherwise none of it makes sense. There is no way they write stuff off. I do think it's funny though, with the HG Christmas, you know, there were people calling out certain things. They were like, why exactly did you pick up 6 Christmas trees? Was that to obfuscate the idea that, you know, or the fireworks? They were like, how much money did you spend in fireworks for the people that were there? Not for the little girl. What about all the concessions and stuff, let's say? Who paid for that stuff, you know? Anyway. But yeah, mathin'. What's up, Cynic, my friend? I mean, it's a 20 super chat that is BBB. We will see, baby. I think that's a good bet. Now again, Dwayne says it's probably just J-Hip. Could be. You never know. he is an amazing lawyer. Maybe they were like, God, we're gonna find him. Re-arise like Perry Mason. My fictitious lawyer died. My fictitious lawyer didn't die. That's amazing. I do love that one. Jermaine, thanks for the 5. Doesn't the fact that she's refiling the original complaint as a countersuit defeat her argument that the Granger's claim fails because she dismissed it? Yeah. Yeah, it does. But I mean, trying to make sense of her filing anything, the more you look at it, I'll tell you this, the more you look at that, the more crazy stuff you're going to find. I think Melissa put up a pretty good post for argument. I didn't get into a lot of the arguments again. Like, again, lawyers say what? Judge say what? I didn't even get into some of that. There's some pretty interesting arguments to be had about, what happened here again? I think you should, you know, if you're on Facebook especially, you should check those out. Nocturnal one. Thank you for the membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for that membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Thank you, Nocturnal one. Much appreciated. Happy to have you, too. Happy to have the Muppets. Jack's mom. Thanks for the 5. I think you and/or, man, should repost the depot and the Trespass 5 videos during the day as refreshers. HG wasn't terrified. She wanted to talk to them. Yeah, I actually think we should go over the, now knowing everything that we do, I think we should go over the Trespass 5 video because it is centralized again in a lawsuit. They've made mention of it multiple times. We can look at it, and again, you know, that they made claims like they threatened to record the child. Now, wouldn't it be interesting to take those claims and play kind of a let's hunt for this? If we can find these certain things, you know, where they say they're doing this, so they say that they're trying to do that. Let's find proof of that. Jack's mom, thanks for the 2. She broke into his trailer. Yes, indeed. That's the other thing, too. With Lloyd, Lloyd wanted to be out of there. He told her under no uncertain terms that she was not to go into his trailer. She recorded a video of being in his trailer and doing things in it, even though he told her not to be in it. I very well remember that because I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you're not supposed to be there. He told you not to go in there, lady. You know, it's his property. He has the right to tell you not to go in there. Man, by the way, I don't know if y'all have dollar stores around where you live, but look, you ever get that hand moisturizing spray, you know, hand sanitizer, you know, the spray, like spray? They have a flavor. It's from the Ashley, but I bought this the other day at the dollar store. And I love it. That's why I'm telling you this. It's random, but still, I just sprayed on my hands with her. It's from the Ashley Bell collection. It is apple pear clove. And my God, it smells good. I hate like creepy, nasty scents. I hate most scents there. So, yeah, most male scents smell like industrial waste. And I don't like fake smells. You know, like fake flowers and stuff. This stuff smells good. It smells like cinnamon and something else. It smells good, though, especially for hand sanitizer. Go buy you some. It's $1. Very random, but still. Georgie, thanks for the 5. Hey, Mr. Togglesworth. When you get a chance, I sent you. Yes, I saw that. Thank you, Georgie. That was very good. I'm going to be sending that over, too, to other folks as well. For sure. Because that right there is an admission that they are false flagging. Oh, it's something else. Again, they admit to, like I said, Stupid Dave admits channel damage from all this mess. He admits that the channels like Jeremy Hales has been damaged, and he has people commenting that are like, I flag every day. I do all this stuff. Sponsors, well, I report their hate channels and more. Again, it notes that these people have done damage. I cannot believe they would post that. I can, but my God, so dumb. Razilla thinks of it. We'll send a link to my trespassed 5 video. Send over a link. I'll see what you got there. Janice thinks of the 10 there. Could you show a video of that day, especially of Rex backing Lloyd's camper off the property? Rex driving was yes, indeed. There were 2 videos. In fact, there were 2 trespass 5 videos. And they both have their own angles and everything. I loved it. I loved having, you know, different people, different angles. I loved having a camera over with Lloyd too. One of the things that the footage proves too is they 100% had permission. Lloyd, they weren't allowed on the property without Lloyd being there. So not only did they have permission, but Lloyd himself was there. So kind of hard to drive this one in, you know. Okay, the cat lady, thanks for the 5. How can counterclaims when she's already defaulted? Isn't the case done? This has no chance, right? Well, you can. So you can have counterclaims on top of. It's wild when you look at it. You can have counterclaims that have counterclaims. There's I can't remember the word for it, you know. But they have no chance of winning anything. They, in fact, may be defaulted out anyway. We'll see what the judge says on it. But it's ridiculous that they have been sitting for months. She had a lawyer for the longest time that was sitting on this stuff. She just decided now when they're talking about actually ending it, she's like, oh my God, I'm losing. I've lost this. She does know, even despite all the bluster and bull that she threw out there, she does know that she's in a bad way. And I need to talk to Madam Mayor again. I need to talk to them and ask them about their, well, just about everything since they've moved, how things have been. I'm going to ask them about the allegation. I'd like to read them some of the allegations. I'd like to ask them about the other day, how they felt about this. And of course, they've had a hate group attacking them repeatedly. You know, they like talking about hate groups, you know, with these antis. But these antis have taken aim at the Grangers, tried to ruin their lives, tried to damage their channels, you know, destroy their reputation. So, yeah. Terry, thanks for the follow. They're homeless, living in a shed with a 5-year-old. CS is ignoring. Indeed, they are. They absolutely are. And again, don't contact anybody because it does not help. But yes, they are living, you know, no air conditioning, according to 2L. She said there's no air conditioning in it. It's in Florida. I live in Tennessee. Right now, the days aren't terrible, but I'll tell you, like, when the humidity kicks up, I can't even imagine it. I can't. And it's going to be a danger. You know, they talked about heaters. I don't know what kind of heaters they have, but they said, 2L said, oh, they got them 2 heaters. Now, really, I'm going to say that donors paid for those. Nothing came out of the nicety of anything else. You know, they try to act like they bought them something, but really, other people paid for it. Isn't that so magnanimous? They gave them a little bit of their money for heaters so they don't freeze to death. But isn't that crazy? I mean, they're living in a 15 by 20. 3 people in it. That sounds dangerous depending on the type of heaters. Jen, thanks for the 2. How can LP argue a case with Smith? Indeed, it's going to be interesting to see. She's trying to add counterclaims on to their. Oh God, what is it? Give me a minute. I'm trying to. I looked at the other thing and I can't remember the freaking name of the filing. Complaint from malicious prosecution. So they're trying to counterclaim that and add in the case. Or it'll be fun to see what the judge says about this. You know, like I said, these people, man. I mean, it's funny too that they dropped the case against all these other people, but are like, oh, it was the Grangers that did everything now. You notice? It's no longer Jeremy. If you took their original complaint too, they actually blamed Jeremy for being the reading leader and doing all of this. You know, so it's wild. What's up, Puzzler? By the way, how you doing, my friend? Thank you for the 5 giftos and a merry birthday to you. Indeed, thank you, my friend. Elfie, thanks for the fun there. If JH conspires for subs, why don't you, Megan and Shizzy, have 700K yet? Indeed. You know, it's such a ridiculous idea. You know? Not just that, but if the sole goal was to build subs, there's an easy way to do it. It's called covering other things too. But this matters, you know, despite their hate and vitriol trying to damage people, this still matters. So, but you're right. Very much so. Turd Vertals, thanks for the 11 month, almost a year there. Thank you. Bet Lisa actually is buying it and cause more problems for Jeremy. Yeah, you know that is the motivation to do this stuff, to cause problems. You know, 100%. 1 second. One minute. Let's see. Rio Baby, thanks for the 5 giftos. Thank you, Rio Baby. That is much appreciated. I love them. I'm glad y'all give giftos because it hits everybody. Love it. Georgie, thanks, dude. Oh my God, Tucklesworth. She's having another meltdown. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, she's like the gift that will never stop. I love it. Thank you, by the way. I must have it. Oh my God. And Janice, thanks then. As a resident visa, Japan, you have to speak Japanese, have a family sponsor, claim. Yeah, look at all of this there. Skill set, proof of money to support yourself, not be a drain and more. Oh, hear this. Well, come here for a second. That ain't gonna work out. Thanks for noting that, by the way. That's fascinating to know. Hey kiddo, what you doing? You been hanging out with Sissy?
Yeah. I found a bag of chips. Does he want some? So I cut a bag, the scissors in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Did you let her cut them or you cut them? Or the kid scissors? You talking about those kid scissors? You talking about kid scissors?
There's ones in the bathroom.
Are they kid scissors? No, they're real scissors. You're not supposed to use real scissors, are you?
Sissy did hers, and her made it too tiny for her hand to go through because I kept moving the chips. I couldn't reach it, so I cut it for her.
Okay, well.
I don't want to hug the chips because I don't want to.
I get it, but remember, we don't use scissors, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's okay. You're okay. You were trying to help out your sister. You're not in trouble.
Yeah, because I don't want to move the chips.
You hold the thing and let Sissy cut it next time, okay?
Yeah,
that's the way. That way you.
Yeah, but her made it too tiny, like one sip.
I know. I'm just saying, you let her do it with the scissors next time, okay? Because you have to be careful. Remember, sharp things are not our friends, right? Yeah. Yeah. What don't we play with? Hey, come over here. What don't we play with, by the way?
Scissors.
We don't play with scissors. That's right. What else don't we play with?
Knives.
That's right. We never play with knives. What else don't we play with?
Guns.
That's right. No guns ever. See, you're smart. You're such a smart kid.
I want to to make a
I
big
know you are
hole for
very
her
smart.
hand.
I know.
Because it's for our hand.
Oh, come here.
When her
You ain't gotta
toes
explain it
is
away.
turning too hard because her doing by her face.
I know you're trying to help Sissy. It's okay.
Yeah.
I know.
I made it bigger for her hand.
Well, you were with Sissy too. I understand. It's just, remember, there's kid scissors as well. Remember?
Yeah. The kid scissors are down here.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. We need to put a pair of kid scissors upstairs, don't we?
Yeah, we need a bunch of kid scissors for me, cause.
Well, you don't need scissors normally. You know what Sissy did with scissors one time?
What?
She cut her hair when she was little.
What age? 5 to 10.
I think she was about your age.
5?
How old are you?
6.
6. So I think it was 6 to 7, somewhere in there. She cut her hair.
I think it was 7 because sometimes 7-year-olds cut their hair,
They do, huh? 7-year-olds? Oh my goodness. That sounds crazy.
Because how did her get to 11 so fast?
It wasn't fast. I mean, she feels like she grew fast, but it's been 11 years.
Yep.
How'd you get to 6 so fast?
We say stay.
Oh, okay. I get it. Come here. You want to talk for a second? Because I'm fixing to end. Come here. You want to say bye? Come over here.
The teleswitch I was done charging had 7 and 6 in. Can I unplug it? Can I plug the teleswitch?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
You want to take it upstairs?
Yeah, so I don't have to plug the system.
All right. Okay, we'll take it up there. Hey, be careful with it, though, okay? Do not mess up the controllers like you did a long time ago with that other one, okay?
It was just a long time ago.
I know, but still, that's mine. It's got new controller bits. I don't want you messing it up, okay?
Okay.
All right.
You know the little things that you have Friday?
What little thing?
You know those little things that you put on so if I do something, like those little things?
Oh, I don't. Those are for the other one. Here, turn the music on that. There you go. All right, well, take it upstairs if you're going to play with it. Go. Take it upstairs for you. I think I hear a big scissor going.
Hey, Elizabeth, got my game.
Yeah. What's up, big kid?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
I heard, I was hearing a story about how somebody was, operating scissors.
I watched her and made sure she was fine.
I was just telling her that.
Under strict supervision.
Yep.
I know, but she needs kid scissors, remember?
Yeah, we need some kid scissors for me.
I know.
Because I'm not allowed for kids.
How's the new goldfish doing? Hey, I like your shirt. I didn't notice. You got goldfish on your shirt.
Yeah, Also, guys, if you didn't know, I got a new goldfish. I named it Flash Grenade.
Flash Grenade. I was telling them the other day that one of your pets is named Tax Evasion.
And
Tax
Flash
Evasion
Grenade.
3001. Do not slander my boy.
Tax Evasion 3001. I like that name.
Tax Evasion 3000 was taken.
Yeah. Well, was it really?
Yes.
Taken by who exactly?
A grub worm.
Oh, my bad.
Can I sit with you?
So it's
On your lap.
a long line of tax evaders. Okay.
The IRS got the rest of them.
Oh no, they were repossessed.
No.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
trying to play Puppy over here. Can anyone help me?
What are the other names?
I named one Roach Me after the Pearl Jam song, Jeremy.
Roach Me like Jeremy.
Roach Me.
Roach Me
The
spoken class
female
today.
roaches got good names.
Really?
Hissy and Nurse.
Hissy and Nurse, huh?
Roach
I don't know. I
Me
like
is-
tax evasion. I think that's funny.
Can
a good name.
someone put me up
Actually,
on
you need to go sit over there. I can't.
Y'all
reach up there.
already know what my gecko's name is. Present.
Yes, Crescent, like the roll.
I can't
You used
do
to,
it.
when you were little, named
can't
everything
do it.
after
I
food
can't
products and
Food.
movies. Like, let's see, you named a cat after. You didn't name them after the movie The Thing. You named two of them. There was Giles Muffin, and McCready Biscuit. There would always be like a name and then a food product. It was so funny.
Yeah. But guess what, guys? My lizard shedded.
Yeah, they shed. Like Carrie sent $20.
Thanks, Gary.
Carrie said,
Carrie?
yeah. Carrie.
Girl, go back to prom.
Carrie said, "Hey,
I can't
for
do
your
anything, so I can't focus.
for your beautiful," he said, "for
I
your
can't
beautiful
focus.
girls,
You got me in two
From
places because of the noise.
Ted in Melbourne, Australia. Well, take it upstairs. You can turn up the sound and everything. Can't have the sound on down here though, okay?
Sorry.
I like
But it's from Australia.
Australia.
Yeah, she really likes Australia because it's got all the
They have Tim Tams.
not just yes, that's true, but also they have some
And the
the
eagle
giant
Kinder Eggs.
insect.
Yeah, and the big ones.
Can do it.
Yes,
Don't
they have
say
Kinder
about
Eggs.
it.
Thank you for that, Kay.
They
She's
can't tell me that.
excitable. They are so excitable.
I want to go to.
Guys, I really like computers now. Well, like sentient tech in general.
Mhm.
Robots are awesome.
Yes, you've been. You actually picked up that. What is his name? The portal. robot?
Wheatley.
Wheatley. Yeah, you found a stuffy of him. It's a cool stuffy.
No, I didn't pick him up. He crashed through my bedroom.
Yeah, he quote unquote crashed. He crashed at the freaking USPS. I think that's where he crashed through.
Crashed through space, and now I have to deal with his idiotic self.
Yes, he is cool looking though. That is
Yeah,
a cool.
I actually got
freaking
an official
stuffy.
plushie of him, like
Mhm.
official.
She saved up for it. She saved her money for it and everything. That was
Yeah.
amazing.
Thank you to everybody who bought a commission because you were fueling my robot addiction.
Yep, hi.
Yes, I'll have to put up some more. We've got the one we've got to send out this week. We've got that one made. I've put up a few. I'll probably do a few more. I've kept them, we've kept them, like you said, limited edition.
They're limited edition.
That's right. She's been making limited.
Look, I won.
I love it. That's cool.
There are limits. I can't do very big things in like a short amount of
She's
time.
been making bracelets. What do you call those?
Candy.
Candy. Yeah.
It's spelled KANDI.
NDI. Yeah. I'd never heard of that called that.
It's a teen kid thing.
Oh yeah, you know what? Laura, thanks for the 2. She said, "Look up a huntsman spider." You know what the huntsmen are? Those giant
Yeah,
spiders.
giant spiders.
Yeah. There we
Those
saw.
are like my favorite.
Those are amazing.
Did you know that most common house spiders, not wolf spiders, for the love of God,
What? No.
can't even pierce through your skins? Well, skin layer?
Yeah, that's true. But I still don't want a giant one running up on me.
Yeah, but house spiders.
Oh my God, you want to hear something terrifying, folks? So somebody in this room was feeding the spiders. We have some tarantulas, and I went and checked the tanks the next day, and I noticed a spider wasn't in it.
Yeah, because I ate it.
But I noticed I couldn't find the spider. And I looked around. I thought maybe something happened. Maybe it dug down or something. Well, I left it alone for a few days because they'll dig, and you don't want to bother them with their molting. But I couldn't find a burrow or anything.
My lizard shedded today.
Oh, it did.
It ate its skin. Why do they do that? Don't
It's
do
nutritious. It's nutritious. That's what I would do. I got taste. No,
It ate its shedding skin. It didn't eat its actual skin. And I am lucky that thing didn't eat crickets.
Mistress Loon said, here's some advice. Never accept dice from a wombat.
Okay.
I can't accept dice.
Oh, no.
Thank you. Thank you. I
ominous.
always take that.
Y'all.
There's a channel called Snake Discovery. Tracy said they show and teach you about all kinds of snakes, lizards, frogs, jumping spiders. Snake Discovery. That sounds good. I think they would like that.
What are your guys' favorite type of robot? It's a scale.
Yes,
you can
we are
get
stuck
from
on
very
robots.
human, realistic AI that is played by actual actors, or you could get into like HAL 9000 territory, like just disembodied voices inside of machines.
What about robots like Wally?
Wally weird.
That counts too.
Wally mattered. Wally lad.
It's a spectrum.
Hey, Emma sent to there. Said, I had a huntsman in my PJs as a kid. That would be horrifying, to be honest. Those giant spiders in there.
Yeah.
I had a brown.
Guys.
We find brown recluses sometimes, don't we? We find them,
And we
especially in the
find
garage.
spiders.
Yeah.
I have a pet horsefly. I can't really feed it though because it's a female one, and the female ones eat blood.
Yes, we caught
The
a.
male ones eat like pollen and stuff.
We caught a. It's a mean, freaking big horsefly.
It's huge. I had to tape the whole container down to make sure it wouldn't like escape.
Hey, someone's trying to copy yellow.
Oh, no.
The blue one's trying to copy yellow because you have masks. You have masks for your characters. If
Robot
you
Wars.
get a
I
mask.
like that. I like I like Robot Jocks. You know that movie?
Hey, did you know if you went
If people get in the giant robots and throw down.
Did you know if you
Oh
went
yeah.
She forgot all about that.
Hey,
Yeah, Robot Wars. Have you ever watched it where people build robots and they fight them?
hey, look.
They built like teams of people,
Elizabeth.
build them up and fight them. Have you ever
I'm
seen that?
down.
No, I shouldn't
If
even
you-
know about that.
if
I'm
you
glad you
win-
mentioned Robot Wars.
Hey, if you win copy
Uh,
games, from this copy game,
Guys, I'm not ashamed to admit this,
or if
but
you win-
if I see
you
a
want
bug
Bobby-
that I don't exactly know the species of,
if you
I will not touch it until I figure out.
that's the smart play.
Hey,
What? If you win a Kirby, what? What were you saying?
if you win a copy game, you get a mask, and a blue one had a copy yellow mask.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you've been.
Some of them have noises, so you can see which color you want to be.
That's cool. You've been playing with Kirby.
I love copy.
Yeah. But the thing is,
Don't try to
like,
copy me.
if I know it's like a safe species just by looking at it, like
Mhm.
pray tell a roly-poly, millipede, or I don't know, a dragonfly. Do those even bite?
Do you remember your mom used to freak out because I catch snakes and stuff in the yard when we lived at the old place? Can you remember all that? You remember me catching snakes and bringing them up?
Yeah.
Don't you?
It was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Born when that happened. My mother born when
And
that happened.
You were
And
tiny though.
But like, if I know like they're not gonna harm me, I'm just gonna snatch them up.
Rhea Raya said that her boys had RC Robot Wars robots. They're amazing. I'll have to show her Robot Wars. Like I forgot.
I really like
she would
robots.
probably like that quite a bit. You know.
I
Amanda.
like sentient tech in the first place. Like they don't exactly have to have a body. Like if it's just a computer.
Amanda pointed out a good thing though. She said you successfully derailed me from that tarantula escaping story. Yes, we had
Subscribe or the cobalt blue is going to charge up to your house and eat you.
Yes, we had a tarantula disappear. It has never been found after someone let it get out during feeding, I'm thinking.
Anybody.
Yes.
That can't be
we've
me.
never found it.
Stop that.
I'm not Elizabeth. Actually, my name is Greg, and I'm 37.
Blame Greg. Yeah, battle bots. Battle bots are cool, man. Remember all that stuff? It was so good. Everybody would buy a bunch of beads and crafts. And she's been
Hello, my
making
name
a
is
bunch
Greg.
of she's
You
been
don't
making
sound like a
bracelets.
boy.
She's been doing commissions. They've been
You don't-
they're cute.
What the
She's done a few. She's done very limited ones. I told her like to do limited ones and not, all of her worker, but she's done some cool ones, and props. to the people who picked them up.
I make
I know you
personal
are.
stuff, and I make commissions.
Yeah.
I don't exactly make like big things, but I make high quality things.
That's right.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's
they're
true.
And
cute.
both parties are happy.
All right, girls. So y'all want to say bye? I'm gonna chill us out. It is late.
Yeah.
So I want to say bye.
Bye.
And subscribe, or I will go to
Subscribe.
your house and steal your refrigerator.
It's part to my channel called Dance of Waffle.
You have a channel called Dancing Waffles. What? Wait, here's you a 5 right here. Hey, Mama Bear. He said, look, I did my exotic presentation in vet assistance with a 6-foot ball python named Bianca. She was beautiful.
That's cute.
Yeah, I mean, I love
snakes.
I love snakes,
but,
too.
Unless I know they're not going to bite me, I'm not going to touch them.
They love them. They love them quite a bit. they do. They love.
I love
snakes
anything.
like she does. She's not scared of anything.
I quite
Are you
like.
scared of snakes?
Yeah.
No. Are you
I have
scared of?
something to
You
mention
don't
to
like
the
bugs
audience.
though.
Yeah, I don't like any bugs that bite. though. Bite.
You don't like gnats or
My-
ants. You don't like anything that's loose.
My
Yeah,
favorite
but I don't
type
like
of
snakes
bug
that bite either.
are quote unquote gross carrion bugs. If you don't know what a carrion bug is, they're basically like flies. They decompose the like waste
Hmm.
and yeah, basically.
Fight to the
Hey.
death.
SF said, and thanks for the 5 there.
Right to
SF
the
said if their house would be on fire if there was a tarantula on the loose.
Well, can you bring the flamethrower over here?
For real.
Fight to the
It,
death.
it probably took off for the I mean they're pretty they're pretty good at hiding, so it probably took off for the outdoor, but who knows, they could be
But
around
I quite like gross carrion bugs like flies or roaches, but it's not
Actually,
because
those-
of the pest quality. I quite like how they look.
those hissing roaches are interesting. Those are weird.
Yeah.
Yes, but I like the look of most quote unquote gross bugs,
Right.
as I think they get a bad rep for being, well, the bugs they are designed to be. Because I think we all forget something at the end of the day.
What's that?
Bugs don't have morals. In fact, no other animal than humans has morals.
Well, that's true. Rhea Raya sent 2. She said, DM on X, Robot Wars. I'll have to check it out then. Thank you. I'll have to check
And
it out over this. Show them.
plus, flies are my favorite bug. Not because they're gross and eat your food. It's because they look so awesome, and it may or may
I
not be
know.
influenced by the movie.
Hey,
Are you
look.
ready to?
Hey,
May
look.
or may not.
Look at
All
the
right.
mask I got.
Okay, well, we're going to end here. Are y'all ready to?
60-40.
You want to say your byes?
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks. I will be on tomorrow.
Until we
Yeah, play.
meet again.
See ya. And I caught everybody on there. Appreciate y'all. See ya.
Hey, look.